security and prosperity. Businesses struggled to survive and support their employees. The weight was on their shoulders. Insperity was built for times like this. We've provided confidence amid the chaos, restoring the indomitable spirit of the American entrepreneur, together rising above. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Attention St. Louis homeowners. Are you looking to sell your house without all the stress? Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis can buy your house cash and close on your timeline. No commissions, no repairs, no appraisals, no showings, no headache. Call Chris now, 314-782-7000, or go online to chrisbuysHomesSTL.com to get a free no-obligation cash offer for your house. Behind on payments? The tenant stopped paying the rent? The house needs too many repairs? Not a problem. Chris buys houses in any condition and deals with any situation. There's a reason why Chris Buys Homes is the most trusted home buyer in St. Louis. Go online to get your offer today. chrisbuysHomesSTL.com or call 314-782-7000. That's 314-782-7000.
97.1 FM Talk is on the radio and online on your smart speaker, on your phone, and streaming anytime at 971talk.com. Find it all at radio.com. 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, that means a great deal because right now, if you think about this and look at what's going on, the Democrat doesn't even want policing. Remember, they want to defund the police. Well, who is going to protect you now since they want to defund the police? You know, whoever came up with that stupid idea. So you better have a gun because right now, if you defund the police, you're going to be robbed, you're going to be hurt. And so that's the reason why I say you got to vote for this president, President Donald J. Trump, because he believes in the police. I believe in the police, and I believe in law and order. That's the reason this country was the best country in the world, because we had law and order.
Herschel Walker is so fun to listen to, and he speaks so straight to the point. It's so refreshing. Don't you just love that? Today's big day. I just found out right when I sat down to my computer that Brian Kilmeade followed me on Twitter.
Oh, really?
Wait, that's so cool.
That's cool.
Hey, Brian, nice to meet you.
Awesome.
I've met you in person many times. I've had dinner with him one time after one of his book events at the library. It was a really fun, exciting event, had a good conversation. And I had tweeted at him in the past, and he just never could get him on the hook.
Very cool.
I'm wondering if it's the fact that I tweeted yesterday. Here's what I tweeted: pray for Rush Limbaugh. Who knew that was such a horrendous thing to say? Gosh, I know, Katie, you read through the replies to that. Ryan, I saw you tweeted a couple things about that. I mean, it's weird to me because I figured that in you can follow me on Twitter if you want at Annie Frey Show. Brian Kilmeade's doing it now, so you know it's safe.
Mm-hmm.
You can. I just kind of assumed that I'm not a flamethrower on Twitter. You don't come to my Twitter account to fight because I'm just not going to fight you. I might respond to you if I feel as though you have given me the opportunity to make a really good point that I can share with the rest of my Twitter followers. But I'm not there to fight, and I never will be there to fight. As soon as I realize you're trolling me, which takes exactly 2 tweets, then I just mute you, and you don't exist to me anymore. It's really that simple. And why can't we just do that in life? I mean, like in general, mute button. I tweet out yesterday, pray for Rush Limbaugh. Now, is it bad form for me to talk about my direct competitor who is on another station in the market right now? I don't know. Yeah, maybe. But this was part of his show yesterday, and we need to discuss it.
I thank God every morning when I wake up. I thank God that I did. I try to make it the best day I can, no matter what. Don't look too far ahead. I certainly don't look too far back. I try to remain as committed to the idea what's supposed to happen will happen when it's meant to. I mentioned at the outset of this, the first day I told you that I have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. It is of immense value, strength, confidence. And that's why I'm able to remain fully committed to the idea that what is supposed to happen will happen when it's meant to.
So Rush Limbaugh speaking yesterday on his show there, and I don't listen to Rush because Rush is on at the same time that I'm on. So it's for me to have heard that live, I would not be doing my job, literally not able to do it. But if you've listened to the show long enough, you've probably heard me talk about this. I grew up listening to Rush Limbaugh. I grew up hearing KMOX on in my grandparents' kitchens, my parents' kitchen. It just was on all day long. And I listened to it, and I listened to Rush, and I watched Rush Limbaugh's TV show when he was sitting at that desk. It was like an evening show. I was one of maybe 8-10-year-olds who knew what a ditto head was. It's just real cool, like made me real popular at school kind of stuff. I'm a ditto head. What do you? Yeah, no. I feel like Rush Limbaugh has been. I mean, I was born in '84, and I think that it's important to understand who Rush Limbaugh is in the context of my life, because he's had a huge impact on it. I mean, I don't think that the three of us would be sitting here doing what we're doing right now if it weren't for Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, he's the godfather of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that I would have the opportunity to come speak to you as a millennial female about how conservatism works in my life if it weren't for Rush Limbaugh. I don't think that I would be able to be as outspoken about this. I don't think that there would be an audience that is cultivated for it if it weren't for Rush Limbaugh. So while people will come up to me and say, "Oh, Annie, I turn you on right at 2:00 when Rush gets done." That's what my dad tells me. I take that as a compliment because they hurry over to my show when Rush Limbaugh gets over. Or people tell me, "Oh, Annie, you make it so hard to decide on any given day if I'm going to listen to you or Rush." And I always go back and forth. The idea that 10-year-old girl who knew what a ditto head was would someday have people flipping back and forth between Rush Limbaugh and myself is mind-blowing. And I wouldn't have the opportunity to do this if it weren't for Rush. Now, the man is battling cancer. It's serious. The suggestion that we should pray for him, one of the most ridiculous responses that I got to this tweet was, he wouldn't pray for me. Well, excuse me, I need to reread my Bible because it seems as though I have completely misconstrued the point and purpose of prayer. The idea that, well, would that person pray for me? Because if they wouldn't pray for me, then I sure as heck don't have to pray for them. I don't really remember that chapter and verse. I saw, who's the dude? The dude abides. What's his name?
Big
Jeff
Lebowski.
Bridges.
Jeff Bridges, yeah.
He came out, he's got lymphoma. He's got cancer. I tweeted last night that I would pray for him as well. I didn't get any hate back from that one. Dan Bongino has lymphoma.
Wow.
You tweet out about that, I get hate back from that. What's wrong with us? What is wrong with the idea? Like, whatever Rush Limbaugh is in your life, he's my direct competitor, folks. Like, I have to try to encourage you to listen to me over Rush Limbaugh. And I hope that he has years and years and years of time left on the radio because it's important. And I want him to be well, and I want him to get better. I want a full and rapid recovery for him. So I'm going to pray for that. But when you tweet out about something, when you dive into the cesspool that is Twitter, you get a real quick look at what people, what they think. When you say a simple sentence like pray for Rush Limbaugh, folks, if you are somebody who doesn't pray, does the converse of that have to be automatic, complete and total hatred and disgust for someone? And are we so compulsive in our hatred right now that we have to be certain that everybody knows? You've got to get your word in. You've got to make sure that you were heard on this issue. I mean, good grief, folks. I'm looking through some of these responses right now, and I know that this isn't everybody. I know that this isn't you, but there are a lot of them. There are quite a few replies here, and they're hateful. They're actually, hateful isn't even a strong enough word for it. I don't know where we turn the corner from this, from humanity. I don't know, actually, that we do turn the corner from this. But the truth is, this first person who replied to my comment or my tweet, pray for Rush Limbaugh, he said he would never pray for me. That reminds me that I need to pray for those people as well. Whatever your spirituality is, if you're somebody who doesn't have religion and you believe in sending positive energy into the universe or whatever it is to you, we need to work really hard on elevating some positivity, some hope for the future of humanity. Because when you're raising kids and you see this, this isn't, I guess, new. This is just the newest form of it. I'm sure that there was this much hate in the 40s and the 60s and the 80s as we have moved through time. But you get it so quick and so snappy, and the brevity with which we put our hatred out there on social media is so disappointing. And I want to do better. I want us to do better. I want us, us individuals, we who are maybe on a different side of the aisle than the people who are commenting, we need to be present in a way that shows them that we're not playing that way. And that's a tough thing to do. And if I were tweeting this all out, people would say, oh, well, what about your president? Are you going to hold your president to that standard? Yeah, I do hold him to that standard, and he doesn't meet it from time to time. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to support him for president because the alternative is Joe Biden. It's just an amazing thing to see when you get the opportunity to see what's right in front of you. And it is made so plainly clear how much hate exists in our culture right now. And you look at this election and you wonder why you have that anxiety about yourself as we are 14 days away from the election. You wonder why it is that it is pressing on you, weighing on you so much, because what are you going to do if your team loses on election day? What's the other side going to do? Have you thought about what it's going to look like to you if the other team wins? Well, those things that turn your stomach thinking about it, make sure that if your team wins, you don't do those things to other people. We've got to make sure that whatever happens on election day, that America wins. I think there's a clear and distinct choice for voters going into this election day. I think that there's a stark contrast between these two candidates, and I think that the choice is very clear about what would be best for America's future. But I see things differently than a lot of people do. And when it gets to the point that you are starting to feel that anxiety about whatever is moving forward, you have to think about yourself the day after election day, or whenever we find out what the results are. What if you win? What if you lose? Be the better person in both of those circumstances. And I don't know which one's going to be harder than the other for our society. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have Rodney Davis on. He is the United States representative. He's my rep, and we're going to talk to him about some efforts that he's putting into to make sure that elections are reliable, trustworthy, that we are not seeing the ballot harvesting potential that exists across the country. So we'll talk with Representative Davis when we come back. Oh yeah, did you hear about 50 Cent? He took one look at Joe Biden's tax plan and was like, "Yeah, y'all need to vote for Trump." We'll be back in just a minute with Rodney Davis.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Hi, this is Lance Drury. If you have payroll tax problems, you have serious legal problems, you need an attorney. Call 314-260-6120 or toll free 888-367-6512 or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
I busted up my knee in Afghanistan, jumping out of a helicopter. I flew back to the States for surgery. I pushed myself to the max and busted it up again. I was told a medical discharge was an option. Then I had surgery at Mizzou Biojoint Center.
To see if MU Healthcare's Mizzou Biojoint Center is right for you, visit biojoint.com.
Air Comfort Service online at aircomfortservice.com. It is getting chilly out there, folks. Have you taken care of your heating and air conditioning unit? Made sure that the maintenance is up to date. You're going to want to make sure that's there, because when you have your maintenance up to date, then your warranty is going to stay intact. If you are looking for a new furnace, can you imagine going through this winter here in St. Louis without a working furnace? Of course you can't. You need to make sure that you have 314-513-0091 in your phone book right now in your phone. 314-513-0091. Here's why. You can get 0% financing right now. 72 months of Carrier Cool Cash rebates up to $1,650 are back as well. So if you were looking to replace that furnace in your house, if you had some trouble with it last winter, don't put it off until you're in an emergency. Reach out to Air Comfort Service today. Corey Malone is so kind. They've been doing this for over half a century. They are very good at what they do. They will take great care of you and your home and your budget. 314-513-0091 online at aircomfortservice.com.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Okay, class, let's bump it up to 9.
Come on, Limu, keep pedaling. We got to build our endurance to let more people know that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Pick up the pace, bird legs.
Hey, don't talk to Limu like that.
I'm not, I'm talking to you.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Get a customized quote at libertymutual.com.
There's an underdog story happening today in America. Small businesses are fighting to make a comeback, but in the moment they have the least, they're giving the most. They're rallying communities and neighborhoods, yet asking for little in return. Well, it's time we gave back. Small Unites is making it simple for everyone to take action and support the small businesses that unite us all. Find out how you can donate, shop, and share today at smallunites.org.
Let's be there for them.
Are you registered and ready to vote? Find out and register if you need to at vote411.org. Don't miss the deadline. Have a plan to vote on November 3rd or know the deadlines if you're voting by mail. Vote, make it count. Go to vote411.org.
How might this week's big stories impact your portfolio? Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale with Stifel. Join me and fellow Stifel financial advisor Eric Robert during On the Money every Saturday from 11 till noon right here on 97.1 FM Talk. Stifel, member NYSE and SIPC.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian, but thought it would be too difficult and time-consuming? Then go to Babbel.com and try it for free. Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you will actually use. In 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel uses a modern conversation-based technique that makes language engaging, fun, and memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then, sentences gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. Babbel is created by language experts who use the spaced repetition method to help you learn quickly and remember what you learned. With Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
The Annie Frey Show.
I've been listening to you guys a lot lately in the last few months. It's refreshing to get a little positive shot in the arm.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
It's going to help change the state around.
On 97.1 FM Talk.
I'm still living with you.
In Palm Beach County and Palm Beach Gardens in particular, it was raining this morning, and so people had their umbrellas. They stood in line, but they cast their ballot. A lot of people have already voted by mail. More than 25% of the Florida expected electorate, about 2.5 million people, but 11,000 have already been rejected because the signatures did not perfectly match those that the supervisors of elections had. So you got to wrap it up. Make sure to do it right if you're going to do it.
So there are questions surrounding voting processes as they are taking place around the country. Voting has started in many different areas. A lot of people have been able to cast their ballot, and people have a lot of questions about what's the safety, what's the security of this process. And so much is changing right in the bottom of the ninth inning before November 3rd, when election day actually gets here. So I want to invite my guest on. U.S. Representative Rodney Davis joins us now. It's great to have you back, Rodney. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your time this close to the election, watching what's taking place across the country. Are you concerned about a fair, equitable election taking place?
No, I'm not. I believe that we have the fairest, freest elections in the world. There are some areas, some states. Remember, our states and local areas are the ones that run our elections. It's not a nationalized approach. So California has different election laws than Illinois. Missouri has different election laws than Illinois. But I know most of these election administrators in my district, and I don't care if they're Republican or Democrat. They just want to make sure they give everybody a chance to vote. Now, what scares me, Annie, states like California that are mailing live ballots out to people they know are dead or shouldn't be registered at that address. That's what the president talks about when he talks about the potential for fraud.
Yeah, I think that there's just a concern in general about how much of this might be changing across the country just due to COVID happening. In the state of Illinois, we've had early voting for some time. What's your feeling about how Illinois is doing so far with this early voting, Congressman, and how are you feeling about your campaign?
I don't know if you'd agree with me or not, Annie, but I am shocked that the Mike Madigan-led Democrats in Springfield didn't implement some of the crazy California stuff that we've seen over the years, like ballot harvesting and mailing live ballots to people they know shouldn't be registered. But they didn't do that. And actually, Republicans and Democrats came together. They mailed applications for absentee ballots, and we're seeing those absentee ballots returned by people who would, for the most part, normally go to the polls, but they're deciding to vote by mail or vote early. And that's okay. We need to make sure everybody gets that chance to vote. I'm confident we're going to have the highest turnout we've ever had in our nation's electoral history with this presidential race. And I think that that's going to bode well for me in my race and bode well for a lot of races.
Congressman, do you want to talk a little bit about how people can register to vote, specifically in Illinois, where your race is? You can register online, and from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, you can register up to the day of the election.
You can register on election day with same-day registration. It's really easy to vote in Illinois if you can legitimately have information and an address and a history of living in that area. You can walk in and register to vote on the same day. Take advantage of that. We want to make sure everybody gets a chance to get out and vote. And if we can keep our grocery stores open, if we can keep our restaurants open like we have throughout this pandemic, and our hardware stores and other places, we can certainly run a safe election to mitigate the risk of spread of COVID. And don't be afraid to go vote in person if that's your preferred method. And frankly, Annie, 59% of Americans polled still want to vote on election day.
Yeah.
U.S. Representative Rodney Davis on the phone with us. Congressman Davis, is this, I hate to use the phrase, but is this the new normal? I mean, do you think in future elections we're just doing mail-in voting now? We're doing really early voting, or is this going to go back after COVID?
Well, I think it's going to be a combination. Remember, early voting didn't start out like gangbusters in Illinois, but the more elections that people took advantage of it, they realized it's less about, which party could get an advantage, and it's more about convenience for them. And when it becomes convenient for somebody, then they're going to take advantage of that process. But I think in Illinois, whatever method that an individual decides to use to cast their vote, we've got some good election officials at the local level that really just want to make sure their ballot's counted, and that it's going to, they're going to follow all the rules and regulations and make sure they give everybody a chance to cast the vote and mitigate any risk that's out there. What concerns me is, what concerns me the most is that maybe election judges might not show up because they might be fearful about COVID, and that causes a lot of concern for me on election day.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people are kind of just waiting to see how this shakes out, and the compulsion that people are going to have this year to vote. As you said, I think that the election turnout overall is going to be just stunning when we see the numbers, even in the midst of a pandemic, which I think, it shows, as you said, if you can go grocery shop, you can go in and be cautious and be smart about it and still cast your ballot with confidence. Congressman, I want to ask you specifically about the state of Illinois, because, whether this is able to crack the top headline or not, because there's a lot of big stories going on right now. Mike Madigan is still dodging and weaving away from a federal investigation into ComEd, which has his name is Public Official A, I believe. There's a lot of eyebrow raising surrounding some of what Mike Madigan has done in the past. And I think it's less surprising to some than it is to others. But I'm looking across the state and seeing a significant amount of opportunity for Republicans to take some of those seats in the Illinois State House, which would challenge Mike Madigan's supermajority. Just speak for a second on state politics. National politics gets the most oxygen in the room from time to time, but you're a resident of the state of Illinois. You're a taxpayer in the state of Illinois. How important are, the down ballot races that people are going to be looking at right now?
I think they're very important, Annie. And if your listeners in the Metro East area want to send a message to Mike Madigan that enough's enough, you can't continue to run the Illinois General Assembly like it's your own little fiefdom and run the state of Illinois into the ground, then you're going to vote for Republican candidates up and down the ballot. Mike Madigan not only is the longest serving Speaker of the House in our nation's history, he's been in charge outside of 2 years since I was 13, and I'm 50 years old now. And he's so narcissistic that he's also the chairman of the Illinois Democratic Party. So you can't walk away from Mike Madigan if you're a Democrat up and down this ballot. And we need to make sure that the voters that are listening to your show right now understand it is imperative that you cannot reward a Mike Madigan, because he has shown time and time again he's never going to give up power, and it's all about himself.
I want to ask you, Congressman, I can't watch a Disney food blog YouTube video without seeing an ad roll before I'm trying to, get away from things for maybe 8-10 minutes. And there's this like paper cartoon of you and your head's bobbling back and forth. And it's this ad. I don't even know what they're criticizing you about. But somebody is spending a lot of money on me being in your district, you being my representative, spending a lot of money trying to take your seat from you to flip your seat blue here in the state of Illinois. And my recollection of your last election, was it your last one where you or maybe two elections ago that you had, who was it that called you and apologized for your loss and had to call you back?
that was the last election. That was Paul Ryan.
Paul Ryan.
CNN reported me losing. It didn't last long. We knew we were going to win, and we did, albeit it was a close race. And my district's a 50-50 district. We know that we're always going to have close races. And you can turn your TV on down in that St. Louis market. You can go online. You can be on, watching Hulu or Sling or another streaming service, and you're going to see a lot of ads criticizing me. And we've already proven that a lot of them are just lies. It's unfortunate that my opponents resorted, and her allies have resorted to lying about me and lying about our record. And that's why I come on shows like yours, Annie. I hope people get to know me as me, and we get to set the record straight. You know what I do, what I vote for, and frankly, I like Nickelback.
Yeah, we do. I thought about that when we started the segment. I said we did not have the correct song queued up, and that's my fault. One last question before we let you go, Congressman. Those issues that are important to people in your district here in the state of Illinois, amidst all the noise of a Trump administration, I think he's gotten quite a bit done. I'm happy to cast my ballot for him here coming up in November. But here in the Midwest, different things are important to us than you're going to see on the national media level right now. When you're campaigning to continue to retain your seat, what issues are you fighting for people in your district?
Well, the national issues that we're hearing about right now in regards to healthcare, don't listen to the lies that you hear on TV and on social media and in the news. Republicans like me and Democrats, we want to make our healthcare system better, protect pre-existing condition coverage for everyone, but also not leave 60 million Americans behind. But agriculture, transportation and infrastructure, student debt are all issues that I promised to tackle when I got to D.C. And I'm proud to say that we've got a very successful record on passing laws to make sure that our farmers are able to get through this pandemic and still be able to survive, that we're continuing to invest in our infrastructure, and you don't have to go too far than the Metro East area to see that. And student debt. I passed a law, even in the pandemic, that helps companies be able to pay the student debt of their employees and have the employees not be taxed on it up to $5,250 a year. These are the things I've done in the midst of all the screaming and yelling in the 24-hour news cycle, because we want to get things done that benefit our constituents. This pandemic's taken longer than we all thought, but we're getting through it. And look at the economic gain that we've seen during this pandemic over the last couple months. Think about that when you go to the ballot box. It could have been a lot worse in this country, but because we came together, working with the Trump administration, your 401k went up last quarter. And who'd have thought in the middle of a pandemic that would happen?
Is Nancy Pelosi going to lead the House to another stimulus bill with President Trump?
No, I think she's playing games. I mean, she puts deadlines in place that she knows she's never going to reach. She just doesn't know what she wants other than to play politics with it and hate the big orange man.
Yeah, it is too bad. But we're watching and we're seeing how it is that we are going to get through the rest of these few days, these couple weeks here leading into the election. And I think everyone's got a little bit of an eye on what's going on and who's doing it. So, Congressman Rodney Davis, we appreciate you. We are watching your race closely. I'm happy to support you. And if your opponent ever wants to come on this show, we would love to have her as well. So that's an open invitation there as well. Thank you so much.
You're not the only radio host that tells me she doesn't want to come on. That should say something.
We appreciate talking to you. Couldn't get out of here without playing you some Nickelback. So here it is. Congressman Rodney Davis, we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Annie Fry's the best. Thanks, Annie.
Thank you so much. Well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about some of those endorsements that keep I don't know if they're trickling in or if the dam's about to break here, and we're going to see some extra support from this president in places we didn't think we would. I don't know. Who does Nickelback support? Probably
I don't know if
just
anybody's talked to Chad Kroger.
probably just Rodney Davis. And I think, is he Canadian?
I think you're right.
I think he's
is.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Maybe that explains it. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back in just a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating over 50 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
The first day of owning a new car is amazing. Fast forward to day 90, and if you own a Hyundai Tucson, it's still just as amazing. Which is why J.D. Power ranked it #1 in initial quality amongst all 2020 compact SUVs. The Hyundai Tucson, a great deal more than just a great deal.
Now get 0% APR for 72 months on the 2020 Tucson. See your local St. Louis Hyundai dealer or visit buyhyundai.com today. For J.D. Power 2020 award information, go to jdpower.com/awards. Offer ends November 2nd, 2020. Call 224-661-0068 for details.
We are approaching that time of year where, of course, in the spring you have wet shoes because it's raining and everything. But there's something different about the way the fall and the winter treats your floors. And if you're like me and you've got kiddos who are running in from school and they want to play outside, but they're tracking in mud and dirt and stuff all over your floors, really benefits you to have those waterproof floors, doesn't it? Well, that's where Michael's Flooring Outlet comes in. If you've been thinking about replacing the flooring in your house, I want you to consider what Michael's Flooring Outlet has to offer you. They have a huge truckload of waterproof flooring that they bought in bulk so that they could pass along the savings to you. And this is standard practice for Michael's Flooring Outlet, always looking for opportunities to get you the best deal on the best quality with the best customer service in town. If you are looking to do some flooring shopping here in the near future, check out any of their locations in St. Charles County and West County. Also, they're in Dardenne Prairie. You can shop them online at michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Jill Shoup has been a politician for 20 years, and she's been for higher taxes a lot. 2001, Shoup backed a new federal gas tax. 2002, Shoup voted to increase property taxes without voter approval. 2003, Shoup supported another property tax increase, 21%, but this one rejected by voters. 2008, Shoup advocated for a local sales tax hike. 2009, Shoup voted to impose new taxes on healthcare. 2011, Shoup voted for higher taxes on small businesses. 2012, Shoup backed higher state income taxes and taxes on cars. 2013, Shoup wanted a higher income tax. 2014, Shoup backed higher taxes on families, higher taxes on businesses. 2015, Shoup voted for a gas tax increase. 2016, Shoup voted for another gas tax increase. 2018, Shoup voted for a higher business income tax and a higher personal income tax. And in 2020, Tax and Jill Shoup wants you to send her to Congress. Congressional Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.congressionalleadershipfund.org.
Mark Cox here for my friends at Pretzel Stop. You've heard me talking about Pretzel Stop for a while now. They're right there on Jungerman Road, just off Highway 94 next to Kohl's and across from Walmart. And Tony and his team are doing a great job. They've got an enormous variety of brats and sausages stuffed into a pretzel bun. But Pretzel Stop's about a lot more than that. They've got gourmet sandwiches, the chicken salad pretzel sandwich. They've got gourmet burgers on a pretzel bun, barbecue on that warm pretzel bun, and even pretzel pizza. And they've got pretzel bites that are out of this world. Do yourself a favor and stop by there. They've got desserts like fruit smoothies and sinful sundaes, and they've got you covered. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, catering. They can even customize the shape of pretzels for parties. So for more information, check them out online. You can find them at pretzelstop.com or at 1650 Jungerman Road in St. Peters.
Being safe doesn't mean being scared. We all want to get back to what we love, to going out, shopping local, even going to work and school. But to protect the people we care about, it's important that we all take precautions. You can feel okay and still spread this virus. Wearing masks, washing your hands, and social distancing can get us back to a world where we can all breathe a little easier. Show me you care at showmestrong.mo.gov.
Critical thinking for critical times. The free exchange of ideas. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Download the radio.com app and stream the station wherever you go.
Bittersweet thing, could this be a dream? Or just a same nightmare that keeps me awake?
Tierman explained to us that he was authorized access to the email address of Bevan Cooney, a former business associate of Hunter Biden and Devin Archer, who has since been incarcerated. Cooney says, according to Tierman, that he felt like he was the fall guy and wanted to come clean.
Bevan Cooney's emails, there's about 26,000 of them. So obviously it's taken some time for me to start to sift through them and understand what I'm looking at. That there was mentions of what Peter and I kind of refer to as the United Nations of global corruption, these four countries, China, Russia, Ukraine, and Kazakhstan. That's predominantly what these business emails have to do with, is these theaters of business.
So there's a lot of goings on, right? When the Biden campaign is doing nothing to deny these and they're hiding in their bunker until Thursday to prepare for a debate where, let's be honest, we all know what Trump is capable of doing, and you got to figure out how you're going to handle that. Why is it that they're not out and about right now? I think it's so that Joe Biden doesn't have to deny these emails over and over and over again, because otherwise is he going to get asked questions about this? I honestly think that the longer he spends away, the more it gives oxygen to the story. However, I will also add that you have to ask, what's worse, the story growing in the mainstream media, or Joe Biden going out there and getting mad because his son's being attacked and knowing that they're right and either having to admit the truth or lie? I think right now it's a lesser of two evils to keep him inside, to keep him from having to say anything that he's going to have to answer for in the debate. If I hear the phrase put a lid on today one more time, I am going to throw lids at people. If you are in my vicinity when I hear call the lid, I'm going to just find the closest lid to me. And right now I have a 32-ounce plastic lid from Casey's. Love them. General store. And a plastic Yeti lid, which would go the distance. Yeah, that one, Ryan. Same thing. I can't stand it. Stop saying call the lid. Nobody knows what that means.
So many times on Outnumbered, it was said today. So many times.
It's like nobody. It's never been said before. It's said 7 times an hour right now. It's not. It doesn't make you cool. It makes you make me crazy.
I love it. I love the phrase.
Have you ever called a lid before? Stop it.
I call lid every day at 3.
No, I think that's Steve.
Yeah.
I just can't handle it. I can't handle the idea that we're just like running with this phrase. I am. It is a open wound that is agitated every time I hear it. Irresponsibly so. It bothers me too much. I know that. I'm trying to make it bother you as much as it bothers me, and then maybe word will get back to these people.
You make a good point about the Biden stuff. Would you rather have him out there actually defending it or not? Because I was thinking the exact opposite, but until you said that, it's like, well, yeah, he's not going to do a great job.
What do you mean what were you thinking?
Well, I was thinking it would be much better for him to be out actively trying to hit back the narrative. But you're right. I don't know that he could do it.
He's not qualified. He also wants to be the president, but I mean, he's not qualified to handle the press.
He doesn't have a teleprompter in front of him or questions written out for him when it comes to that answer.
Yeah. If he goes out there and he gets asked these questions, he got asked that one question from the reporter Erickson, I think was his name, at CBS. And he's like, those are just the kind of questions you would ask. I knew you'd ask something like that. It's just another smear. Well, it might be a smear, but it could be a smear that's also factually accurate. It might be true. And your hesitation to answer it and the way you turn it around on its head and try to attack the reporter for asking that question. And then the next day, we played this yesterday. The next day, they go to get ice cream, and I was like, what kind of ice cream did you get? Tell us. We need to know. The people need to know who to vote for. What kind did you get? And he's like, I got vanilla and chocolate. What a diplomat. And so then he's walking away, and someone's like, the FBI said, and then he like physically lifts his hand up, and he waves them off, and then he walks away with his, what we now know to be chocolate and vanilla ice cream. He said, I wanted to get a little bit of both, but we're going to mix it up together. We're going to take care of that. I'm like, that doesn't sound COVID friendly, A. And B, what about something that the FBI did and said? Can we go back to that? No, because they're mixing their ice cream together. Oh my gosh.
I expect 2 things to happen between now and Thursday. One is that the vice president's team has a fully formed message to combat this stuff. And you're going to hear some sort of switch, like, okay, this is what we're saying now, and you're going to hear it repeated over and over and over throughout.
They're going to make it about Hunter Biden's drug addiction.
You're probably right. The second thing that I predict that happen between now and Thursday is that this may already be happening though. More and more of these emails and stuff from that laptop is going to keep dropping before we see Biden again.
I don't think that there's any doubt in anybody's mind that we are going to have a situation where this is going to be drip, drip, drip into the election and beyond the election, folks. We are going to continue to see these emails. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because at 1:25, Jack Posobiec is going to join us again. He's a host for OAN, and he has seen all of the emails from Cooney, who we were just talking about here. The guy who is in jail, who believes he was the fall guy for Devin Archer and Hunter Biden, excuse me, and he believes he got put on the hook for a fraud scheme that they were all involved in, and that the other two sidestepped the justice system there because of their position in life. Everything that we've been hearing, think about this. Everything that we've been hearing that Donald Trump did from before the election, the Steele dossier, from the Steele dossier up until this very point in time, that somehow or another, Donald Trump worked with a foreign country to try to get elected. It's not true, folks. And we've never had any evidence that it was true. The FBI went on evidence that was presented to them, but they didn't check the veracity of that evidence to begin with. They just went on it because it did what they needed it to do. It got them the FISA warrant so they could spy on Carter Page. The gravity of what we are potentially about to see and have unfold in front of us is something that I don't think this country has seen before. And it's going to reconfigure our understanding of what an unchecked government is capable of doing. I'm very concerned about what is going to be exposed, and ultimately how many people have known about this and helped keep it a secret. When Jack comes on with us at 125, I'm going to ask him to give us the 101 version, maybe even the 100 level class, not even the 101 level class of what these emails entail, because those emails, the ones that came from Cooney, who was an associate of Hunter Biden, this is a completely different set of emails than what Giuliani has with the laptop that was left behind at the MacBook repair store that Hunter Biden's lawyer went back and asked for his client's laptop back. It's a bold move, a bold move, Cotton. I don't know where this is going. And the biggest question is, will Donald Trump be able to stay out of the way of the story as it unfolds? Here's another thought that I have. I don't have, this is just a hunch that I have. You know how today we were supposed to have, Senate Judiciary testimony where we're calling Jack Dorsey to Capitol Hill and he's going to testify. We're going to find out, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh, actually, we're not going to do that. We're going to put that off a little bit. Some GOP people, some GOP senators decided that this was not the best time. I'm fairly certain that they were so shocked by the amount of censorship that took place in regards to this Hunter Biden story that the Hunter Biden story became the B story and the censorship became the A story. And they needed to get out of the way of the Hunter Biden story as it is starting to ramp up. As the emails are coming out, as Hunter Biden is people are starting to look at him, but more importantly here, folks, is what Hunter Biden's position and relationship with these countries, how it benefited Joe Biden when he was the vice president of the United States. That's the question. We're looking to make this guy the president of the United States, and there is infinitely more evidence that suggests that he was using his position of power through the back door of Hunter Biden, his son, to profit in numbers that to you and me is monopoly money. There is more evidence to suggest that Joe Biden was willfully and knowingly doing this than there ever has been on anything that the president has been impeached for or that has been investigated by Robert Mueller. It is damning what we know so far, and the Biden camp hasn't even denied any of it. They've said it's a smear. Well, I'm pretty sure you can tell the truth and use it as a smear on somebody. If they're not going to deny this, and it is so close to the election, can they hold their breath until this is over? Can they keep to themselves? Can they keep Joe Biden out from being in front of reporters to answer questions where he's going to have to choose? As I said before, you're either going to need to lie or you're going to need to sidestep. Or tell the truth, folks. If it's untrue, if these are not real, then say so. Nobody is saying that they're not real except for Adam Schiff. And if there is not in my lifetime some sort of criminal implementation of just spewing complete and totally fabricated lies to try to persuade people. If there is zero accountability, you know where this accountability is supposed to come from, folks? The media is supposed to make a mockery out of Adam Schiff. The man, he makes me so mad. When I see his face, he makes me mad.
Mm-hmm.
He just irks me. He gets under my skin because he's lying to you. And it's almost as if he's like staring at you with his eyes, like you will believe the things that I say. And it's like, you're nuts. You're absolutely crazy. Everything you're saying, you have no evidence to back up what you're saying. And I'm just supposed to sit here and believe it. And everything he says, obviously, has massive amount of political implications that benefit him. We're just supposed to sit there and listen to him and trust him. Who trusts Adam Schiff? It's unbelievable. Why is there no repercussion for blatant lies to the American people? I include Donald Trump in that. If he is blatantly lying about anything, put him in there too. There needs to be some sort of consequence for doing this. And God willing, a media that will be willing to call out these lies because they're advocating for the truth, not a political party. Jack Posobiec's going to be with us at 1:25. He's a host at One American News, and he's going to talk to us about the Hunter Biden associate who has revealed his dealings with a Russian oligarch. I'm going to have him simplify it. I'm going to say, you need to dumb this down so dumb that you only speak in 3-letter words so that we all understand this when you're done. Jack will be here at 1:25. You are going to be here right when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
Don't change the truth.
Hiring can be challenging, but ZipRecruiter makes it fast and easy. We talked to Monica Starks, who needed to hire for a pivotal role at her company, GS Group.
As the owner of a construction company, finding the right people is a very difficult task. So I use ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology identifies the right people for your job and actively invites them to apply, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Monica did, and that's how she found Lamont, her new project superintendent.
The job is so perfect for me. I had a career breakthrough. I would have never found this job if it wasn't for ZipRecruiter.
With ZipRecruiter, we've hired everyone from accountants to project managers to field scientists. With ZipRecruiter, we get hiring results.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Lakeside Renovation and Design, known originally for being Lakeside Exteriors. They're the trusted name in James Hardy Siding. And they are so good at what they do. It's a few things that they do that goes the extra mile. First of all, they're reliable. A lot of these, the vast majority of employees, the people who do the work for Lakeside Renovation and Design have been doing it for decades. They come back, they retain their good people, and their good people that do these jobs love working for Lakeside. There's a reciprocal relationship there. They offer a lifetime workmanship warranty on top of each manufacturer's warranty, and they've been in business for over 20 years doing it the right way. And I will also add this. Going from doing exteriors to now doing your interior transformations as well, your bathrooms, your kitchens, your maybe extra bedroom, turning it into an office remodel for your home working. It's all available to you at Lakeside Renovation and Design with the very best in quality. 18 months interest-free financing options as well. You can learn more online at lakesidrenovationanddesign.com.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
KFTK FM Florissant, K54CR St. Louis, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk, a radio.com station.
a new strategy. Lisa Brady, Fox News. As Joe Biden spends time prepping for his final debate with President Trump, the president is spending some time criticizing a change in the rules. Fox's John Decker, live in Washington.
President Trump calling into Fox and Friends earlier, saying he may change up his debate strategy for the final presidential debate on Thursday night.
Well, I may do that. Actually, the interesting thing, they said if you let him talk, he'll lose his chain of thought because he's gonzo. And I understand that.
The president has complained that a rule change to mute microphones for part of his final televised debate with Joe Biden is, in his words, very unfair. And he's also objected to the topics chosen by the debate's moderator. Lisa?
Thanks, John. Well, the muting is planned to allow a candidate to have an uninterrupted opening answer for each segment, but not for use during open discussion. The president holds a rally later today in Pennsylvania, and the first lady was scheduled to go too after recovering from coronavirus, but now her chief of staff says Mrs. Trump has a lingering cough and will postpone her return to the campaign trail. The pandemic is getting at least part of the blame for what could be an all-time high in drug overdose deaths, already an epidemic in the U.S. with a record 71,000 deaths last year. But an Associated Press review of preliminary state and national data suggests this year's numbers will be higher as the fight against COVID disrupts treatment and recovery programs at a time when people are stressed and isolated. The federal government is suing Google over antitrust concerns, accusing the tech giant of stifling competition. White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow calls it an interesting case to explore.
I will leave the specifics to Attorney General Barr, but you have to be mindful. Google has 80% of the search market.
Google calls the lawsuit deeply flawed. America is listening to Fox News.
What do you get when you talk to a Dell Technologies advisor? You get someone who understands there's an art to listening,
Sure.
who's able to hear more than what's being said, and can provide tailored small business solutions that make you feel truly heard.
I understand. Let's get started.
For advice on everything from laptops to the cloud and solutions powered by Intel vPro platform, call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL.
Walgreens has always been there to help make your healthcare easier. From making sure you have the prescriptions you need to answering any questions you have about them. Now, we're here to help make Medicare easier too. Walgreens is a preferred network pharmacy with many plans, including United Healthcare, which can mean copays as low as $0 for you. Talk to a Walgreens pharmacist today. Walgreens, we make Medicare easy. $0 copay on Tier 1 generic drugs when enrolled in a plan with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy. Walgreens accepts other plans.
Air Comfort Service heating and cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Clouds and a little bit of sunshine as we go through our Tuesday afternoon. And because of the thick overcast at times, there'll be a couple of showers here and there, but I think rainfall is somewhat limited. 65 for the high today. It stays a little bit on the cool side, though not as chilly as yesterday. Tonight, clouds, a much better chance of showers and even a couple of thunderstorms. 52 for the high. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at Window World. And let me just take a moment to say thank you to Window World. I'm not sure how many of the 20 years they've been with me, but most of them. They are great people, just great guys, and have been very good to me and taken care of thousands of DGS listeners. So Window World, thank you for the bigger part of 20 years with the DGS. What I love about Window World is the simplicity. Honestly, it's just they make it so easy. There are other replacement window companies in town. We're one of only 2 in the nation that have a good housekeeping seal of approval. Any award that you can win within our industry, we have won. The prices are very modest, very affordable. We give you a lifetime warranty and a lifetime guarantee because we know that our windows are built like a tank. You can depend on saving about 1/3 off your heating and cooling bills 12 months out of the year. Mention me for 18 months, same as cash, 314-993-1800 or windowworld.com, 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
97.1 FM Talk, celebrating 20 years of DGS Halloween shows with Flybird Margaritas.
The kids are talking to these people, the closet people, and they're finding these prayer cards that weren't there when they moved in.
My mom was watching the kids and found they call it a cradle card. She asked my son Max where it came from. And he said, my friend in the closet, Charlie, gave it to me to protect me. You found this?
Yeah, it was in his box springs. They're metal box springs. It was shoved in. It wasn't something that they could have picked up off the street. And these are not standard issue. You know, I mean, they are from 1960, 1970.
Sponsored by Flybird Margarita. What's not to like about getting the equivalent of 4 margaritas for under $10 retail? Just unscrew the cap, pour, and enjoy. Several great flavors to choose from. Flybird Margarita.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at throttlenet.com. So it's crazy time at ThrottleNet. They are IT geniuses, but they are a little bit nutty. Right now, they will pay you $250 for a conversation about your IT support because they value your time during the crazy pandemic. They'll give you the first 30 days for free, no charge for all of their services. And then they'll pay you another $1,000 if you decide to leave in the first 30 days for your trouble. They don't anticipate that you're going to leave, but if you do, they'll shake your hand, they'll put you back where you were, and they'll write you a check for $1,000. It is completely no risk, and they reward you for your time and for your effort. They are the best IT shop in the city, named number 1 5 years straight. They are good guys. Like I said, they are geniuses at protecting you, but they can communicate. They don't stare at their shoes. They look you in the eye, and they tell you what you need to know. ThrottleNet.com/971.
97.1 FM Talk, keeping you plugged in while wireless. Download the radio.com app for your phone or listen by smart speaker. Hey Alexa, hey Siri, play 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
What is he talking about? I'm in a depression now because of him. Every time I see him, he depresses me. Everything he says is pissing me off and depressing me. I don't know what rocket he's on, but I'm getting off the rocket he's on. That's ridiculous.
Okay, Whoopi, what are these people going to do if Trump wins again?
Lose their
Man,
minds.
I don't know.
What's it,
Lose
Katie?
it.
What are your friends going to do if Trump wins again? How is this going to look?
Oh my gosh, they're going to lose their mind. And I'm telling you what, is if Trump wins, which let's hope he wins, I am unfollowing people for the first time in my life. I'm going to unfollow so many people because I will not be able to handle it. It will be 4 more years of every single day posting about Trump and posting about his policies and posting about his administration and just continuing the misinformation that they buy from different media outlets. I won't be able to take it.
Is there any possibility that after he wins, if he wins, and some of this corruption continues to be exposed, assuming it continues to be exposed, is there any possibility, is there anything that could be done, Katie, that could show them a different reality than they currently live in right now? Or is it hopeless?
Oh, no, I don't think that anyone will, in the next 4 years, I don't think anyone will change their mind about Trump because we say this often. If Trump wins and there's no election in front of him, it will be...
Hold on tight, folks.
Hold on tight. However, we can say the same thing with the media. I think we could say the same thing on the flip side. And although Trump will be out and he'll serve his 8 years, they will still not, they will always hate Trump and they will always report misinformation to the public about Trump. Therefore, these people, they're not going to be checking the outlets that are circulating some of this corruption. They're not going to be checking those outlets, and they could be censored to it. I mean, honestly, if they're looking at Twitter, they could maybe not even see it on their Twitter feed. So
they're not even going to be exposed to it. Listen to Chelsea.
He's obsessed with her. I mean, he talks about her all
know.
the time. He talks about her in interviews. He talks about her in rallies. He tweets about her. And I think it's really clear that he has never gotten over the fact that she won the popular vote by more than 3 million votes.
That's right.
And I think that he's also really threatened by strong, powerful women.
He's the president. I know it hurts. I know it hurts deep down inside. I don't think that the president spends his waking time worrying about Hillary Clinton. And I think that the Hillary Clinton name plays really well with Donald Trump's base. So while Chelsea Clinton, you think that he is obsessed with her, I'll tell you what he is obsessed with: winning. He likes to win. And when you say Hillary Clinton, that is immediately indicative of his last best win. And it is glorious to him, and it is glorious to the Americans that voted for him. I like to remind people that he got more votes. He got a higher percentage of the votes than Bill Clinton did. But Bill Clinton was still the president of the United States. And I'm pretty sure if the tables had been turned, Hillary Clinton right now would be saying, I'm the president and you're not, which is almost verbatim what Barack Obama said on mean tweets on Jimmy Kimmel, just to make sure that we're all taking the high road here. It's unbelievable. You know, the orange man bad syndrome is real. The idea that the president can do no wrong, there are people who believe that as well. I get it. I understand that. There has to be a majority of people who are in the middle, who are looking at this election and saying, what is in front of us? What really needs to happen? And I'm wondering, how many people do you know right now who voted for Donald Trump in 2016 who can't stomach to vote for him again? I have a feeling not very many. Listen to Ben Shapiro here.
I did not vote for Donald Trump in 2016. I am voting for Donald Trump in 2020. There are 3 reasons I'm going to vote for Donald Trump in 2020 when I didn't 4 years ago. First, I was simply wrong about Donald Trump on policy. Second, I wasn't really wrong about Donald Trump on character, but whatever damage he was going to do has already been done, and it's not going to help if I don't vote for him this time. And third, most importantly, the Democrats have lost their minds. So, first of all, Donald Trump has governed pretty conservatively. I thought he would not be conservative in his governance. I was just wrong on that. Donald Trump radically cut regulation. You actually saw reductions in the number of man hours dedicated to dealing with regulation for the first time in a long time under Donald Trump. He appointed originalist judges to the best of his ability. We're talking dozens of them, textualist, originalist judges who actually care about the role of the judiciary. He cut taxes, jogging the economy, raising it to heights not seen in half a century, the lowest unemployment rate in half a century, people having their wages rise at the bottom of the spectrum. He appointed pro-life people to the executive branch and pursued pro-life policy via executive order. He dumped out of the idiotic Paris Accords, which were useless and counterproductive. He dumped the even more idiotic and evil Iran deal, which gave money to the Iranian mullahs to use for terrorism, as John Kerry freely admitted. Donald Trump crushed ISIS. He killed al-Baghdadi. He killed Qasem Soleimani. Donald Trump is the first president of my lifetime not to start any new wars, which is a kind of big thing. He moved the American embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. He brokered the first meaningful peace deals there in 3 decades in the Middle East. He cracked down on China in unprecedented ways. He's resisted using the federal government to control everybody's life during COVID. That's a big thing.
It is a really big thing. It is the biggest power grab that could have probably existed in federal government history. COVID. And he has not utilized it to try to manipulate and manage every corner of your life. I am speaking to you from the state of Illinois right now, and I have a governor, I have a leader here who is trying to manage every single inch of every single Illinoisan taxpayer life. It's exhausting. It's, dare I say, un-American. I also don't think that it's lawful. Donald Trump has not used this opportunity to seize power with the arm of the federal government. And man, I heard a Joe Biden commercial earlier today, and it was talking about how the Obama-Biden administration had the economy, fired up for recovery, and Donald Trump is going to finish his presidency with the worst unemployment decline in history. And I'm like, we know there's a pandemic. We get it. We understand. We know what's going on here, and we're not as dumb as you think. You need us to be here. It is so disingenuous to just take out the context of what is happening in our lives, which the Democrats remind us around every turn is happening in our lives, and pin the economy that's actually doing really well right now, considering the circumstances, to try to pin the negatives on Donald Trump. Like all of a sudden, this magically became Trump's economy after COVID. That was where we switched. That is where we got to the fork in the road. And it was so weirdly, coincidentally, the same time that we got hit by a pandemic. Well, let me ask you a question, folks. You want Donald Trump to try to get us back out of this? Or do you want Joe Biden to get us back out of this? Do you want Donald Trump to try to work on building businesses back, build back better? Or do you want Joe Biden, who came up with the dumbest campaign slogan in the history of campaign slogans, and to trust him? He's not even putting himself out there right now to answer questions, hard questions. How is he going to lead this country? How is he going to move us forward to recover from something that nobody could have predicted? Here's the real gem. Here's the real part of this that you need to remember when we're talking about the economy, because I keep seeing Joe Biden have the balls to go on these ads and suggest that the Donald Trump economy is this economy right now, is the COVID economy, is the worst part of a pandemic, a global pandemic, that is the legacy of Donald Trump. Do you have any idea where our economy would be as a country if the big blue states weren't holding everything down? Do you have any idea what the employment numbers would look like if these big blue states were allowing Americans to be free, enjoy your liberty, bathe in it, roll around in it, socially distanced, of course? To give Americans the opportunity to choose to resume their lives in a safe, guided way, you don't get to do that in a blue state. You don't get to do that in California. It's so strange to me that coronavirus affects Disneyland goers, but not Disney World goers. It's the most bizarre thing. I mean, have we really studied this virus inside and out to understand why you can go on Pirates of the Caribbean and Disney World and be good, but at Disneyland, you could catch the virus and it could kill you? That's what they want you to understand. That's what they want you to know. It's politics. The virus is real in Florida. The virus is real in California. Americans have the opportunity to make choices to go to Florida, and Americans have opportunity to make choices to go to California, except for when you get there, you can't do anything because it's shut down. And if it's shut down, that means people there don't have their jobs. Their businesses aren't open making money. If their businesses aren't open and making money, how are they going to pay their employees? Why would they need to pay their employees who aren't working right now? If the employees aren't working right now, then the people who do feel comfortable to go out and shop and, participate and exercise their commerce muscles, they don't have anywhere to go. Because somehow or another, coronavirus acts differently in California than it does in Florida. The virus is real, folks. We know that. We're not being silly about this. We're not being flippant about it. But we can't be scared about it either. And that's been the president's message this whole time. To be brave and smart in the way that you handle this. The whole sum total of the message coming from the left, from the Democrats, is to be afraid and to hide. And that only became the message when they decided it was politically advantageous to do so. You know how we know? Because when Nancy Pelosi thought it was politically advantageous to stand in Chinatown in San Francisco and tell people to come out and shop, she did that. She thought, this is a great opportunity to play the race card. I am going to pin Donald Trump on his China travel ban and go stand in Chinatown and prove to the people that it's okay to come be around Chinese people no matter what your racist president says. Come down here and shop and be out. It's safe. Participate. Be involved. Oh, wait, that's not what we're doing anymore. No, stay at home and be scared. Stay at home and be afraid. That's the new message. It's the most un-American thing I've ever heard. You know what Americans do? We meet the challenge. We protect the people who need protecting, and we do it with generosity and energy in our hearts. That's what we do. I'm so sick and tired of this message from Nancy Pelosi, who really is the leader of the Democratic Party right now. Make no mistake about it. Joe Biden's not saying anything about anything. Joe Biden makes no news. Joe Biden's not in front of the cameras to make news. Joe Biden is hiding until Thursday when he's going to have to debate the president of the United States. And in my opinion, he's staying away from the camera so he doesn't have to deny anything. And he doesn't have to eat his words when they're repeated to him, not by the moderator, because please, by Donald Trump when his microphone's not muted. There's so much at stake coming forward, and there's so much good that the Republican Party has to offer. We need to have our voices be heard. You need to have your voice be heard. Forget about mine. Your persuasion, when you talk to somebody who's willing to listen, and you've got to be willing to listen to the other person, is going to be the most powerful thing in that personal one-on-one relationship. And if you're not doing it now, don't do it later. Don't decide to do it at Thanksgiving. Don't talk about politics at Thanksgiving. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Eat your turkey, socially distance, and all that. You guys having regular Thanksgivings?
I don't know. I think some of my family's a little nervous about it, so we'll probably be a little smaller than usual.
Yep, same here. A little smaller than usual.
Yep, I think we're going to be having it at my house, and we always went to my grandma's house, and she's, passed away a month ago, and so we have to redo our Thanksgiving anyway. So, wonder if there's anywhere to go to Disney.
If there is a way, you'll find it.
Oh, I will. I've checked. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Jack Posobiec is going to join us, and he has seen the emails from this Cooney, the guy who was a business associate with Devin Archer and Hunter Biden. Cooney is in jail, and he's turned over his Gmail account and said, here, read these. You might find some of this interesting. What is interesting about it? Jack will tell us when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Hi, this is Lance Drury. If you have payroll tax problems, you have serious legal problems, you need an attorney. Call 314-260-6120 or toll free 888-367-6512 or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
Get ready for SEC football. Saturdays in Columbia, Missouri will look different than ever before. Your support during this time is needed now more than ever. A Southeastern Conference only schedule. It's the cream of the crop. It's SEC football at Faurot Field. To support your Tigers, contact the Tiger Scholarship Fund. Call 1-800-CAT-PAWS or visit tsfmizzou.com. MIZ.
Speaking of Thanksgiving, holidays are coming up, and I guess Americans, we what do we expect to put on, like 5 pounds over the holidays, maybe 10, and then you do the New Year's Eve resolution or the New Year's Day. You're still partying on New Year's Eve, let's be honest. And you go to lose the weight in 2021. I want to challenge you on this. What if you lost the weight right now? What if you took the opportunity right now to get your health under control? And what if I told you that you could choose the medically supervised HCG rapid weight loss program at Slim 180 and you could lose a pound? Men, I know, lose like 2 pounds a day even on this plan. I have lost over 40 pounds on this diet, and I stand by it confidently. If you're looking to lose weight, reach out to Slim 180 and set up a free consultation. They have 6 locations in O'Fallon, St. Charles, Sunset Hills, Creve Coeur, Chesterfield, and Florissant. You can do a remote consultation if you want. They've got all of this stuff in mind when they're helping you out, but it starts with you. Call 888-754-6111 or visit them online at myslim180.com.
Is your old garage door a real clunker? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is paying cash for your clunkers in October. We'll haul away your old garage door and give you instant credit towards the new insulated door. $150 for your double garage door. $100 for a single door. Cash in on your old opener and entry door too. Free evening and weekend estimates. Our showroom is open. Call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at the Gelman team of Coldwell Banker Premier. If you're thinking of selling your home, now is the time, as buyers are eagerly awaiting new homes to come on the market and interest rates are ultra low. Mark and Neil Gelman are able to keep up with the fast pace of transactions and negotiate the best deal for you. If you'd like to find a new home before selling your current home, Mark and Neil can help you get an edge in our competitive market and have a strategy to successfully do both at the same time. The quickest way to sell a home is to hire Mark and Neil Gelman. Their marketing can actively reach buyers like no one else, and they have a long list of active buyers just waiting for a home like yours. Also, if you're looking to sell your home quickly, Mark and Neil would love to make a cash offer within 24 hours. About 24 people from the DGS sold their home to the Gelman team last year alone. Call the agents that I have trusted to sell my home. That's Mark and Neil Gelman. Call the Gelmans today at 314-336-1991 or online at thegelmanteam.com. That's thegelmanteam.com, and start packing today.
Your energy needs are changing. That's why Ameren Missouri isn't waiting on the future. We're building it with a smart energy plan, advancing thousands of projects across the state. Here in St. Louis, we're adding new clean energy sources and installing new composite poles to better withstand storms. Moving Missouri closer to a future of energy centered around you. That's energy at work. Learn more at amerenmissouri.com/plan.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. It's already October and the leaves are falling. If you're still thinking about that perfect home, it's not too late. And with mortgage interest rates in the twos, you have so much more buying power. At the Home Loan Expert office, we can get you pre-approved and locked in the same day and have you closed in 30 days or less. Enjoy the holidays in your new home and get pre-approved today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
The commute is making a comeback, and dependable traffic is here to get you there. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for joining us today. Pleasure to have you here. Let's listen to this clip here real quick. A former Hunter Biden associate explaining dealing with Russia. This is very interesting stuff, and Jack Posobiec is going to discuss this and break it down with us here in just a second.
Tierman explained to us that he was authorized access to the email address of Bevan Cooney, a former business associate of Hunter Biden and Devon Archer, who has since been incarcerated. Cooney says, according to Tierman, that he felt like he was the fall guy and wanted to come clean.
Bevan Cooney's emails, there's about 26,000 of them. So obviously it's taken some time for me to start to sift through them and understand what I'm looking at. That there was mentions of what Peter and I kind of refer to as the United Nations of global corruption, these four countries, China, Russia, Ukraine, and Kazakhstan. That's predominantly what these business emails have to do with, is these theaters of business.
So there you have it. It's a summation of what OAN and Jack Posobiec has gotten access to. And when Jack joins us, he's going to tell us what it is that they've discovered so far. The drip of these emails. Does it concern you? And don't you think, Ryan, does the vacuum of a response on the Biden campaign's part, or just anybody stepping up other than Adam Schiff and saying Russian disinformation? Maybe it is Russian disinformation just because seems to be some sort of relationship between Hunter Biden and Bevan Cooney and Devon Archer and Russia and China and Ukraine and Kazakhstan. And we seem to have some evidence with that in these 26,000 emails.
Yeah, it seems a little ridiculous that the Russian disinformation thing is really the biggest talking point that they've got to fight this. It makes it pretty clear that this laptop is not only real, but that the contents that are coming out of it are also real and are very notable. I was really skeptical of this story when it first came out, as noted on the show, I think. But the more that keeps coming out, the more that it's showing that Joe Biden really was probably involved in this. It becomes more and more shocking to think that we're about to maybe put this guy in the White House.
It's also very important to distinguish between the laptop that was acquired by Rudy Giuliani and also turned over to the FBI. That story is an entirely different that's a different storyline. That is an entirely different train going down a different set of tracks, maybe parallel to the emails that OAN has. Bevan Cooney this is different. So this story isn't about the laptop. This story is a separate one. We have two trains chugging down the track right now. And the question is definitely going to be, will we see them intersect? Will one set of facts corroborate another set of facts? And we have had people come out both with obviously the Bevan Cooney emails kind of have a veracity of their own because Bevan Cooney signed over his access to the account, and sit there and you look at this and you go, well, how is this real? The word people keep using, it's so funny to me how sensitive they are, the alleged emails. Well, we're really careful about reporting alleged emails when Donald Trump's tax returns were just obtained illegally a few weeks ago. I don't remember anyone caring about how they got there. I don't remember anybody worrying about, well, it's really questionable how we would have been able to access these. And I think we should find out how these were achieved. They didn't care. They had an ends. They had an end that they wanted to achieve, and it was an ends justifies the means at any cost. Now we have a treasure trove of evidence that suggests and points us in an obvious direction, and a reporter would be responsible for getting to the bottom of it, tying these pieces together. What do we know from Hunter's laptop? What do we know from Bevan Cooney's email, his Gmail account that he turned over? Where do they intersect? Who is the big guy? That was one of the questions that a lot of people that people have taken the pitch on to even ask. That's a simple question. Joe Biden, in the emails that we've discovered, who is the big guy? Is that you? Because the story that is presented to the people who are consuming this information is that there is going to be a cut of, as I said, folks, this is monopoly level types of money. It is like an imagination of funds coming in that you and I could never quite understand. Maybe someday, I hope to. It's my aspiration to achieve Hunter Biden level sums of money, where it's just like Scrooge McDuck gold doubloons that you're diving into.
Mm-hmm. Rolling around in hundreds.
Yeah, in hundreds. And what point of that does the big guy get a share, and who is the big guy? That's the question that everybody needs to know. It's a question everybody wants an answer to. And it's a question that no reporter is willing to ask. If you don't have a media out there, like this should make you salivate. This should make you, as a reporter, if you've taken a journalistic class in your lifetime, you should be salivating at the opportunity to expose the truth behind what is going on here, one way or the other. The alternative is that it's a Trump scheme and smear to try to win the presidency back. That would be worth exposing as well. You would think that somewhere along the lines, the people who are being accused of said horrific, potentially treasonous acts would maybe say, yeah, it didn't happen, but that hasn't happened yet. Why is that? Why are there not stark denials of what is going on? Where is Hunter Biden? Legitimately, last night, I'm watching the news and my 4-year-old looks at me and she's like, are you going to watch the news? What are we going to watch after the news? And it's like, more news.
More and more news.
She was supposed to be in bed. I let her stay up and snuggle on me because she had been sick this weekend. So we were doing a little mom cuddling to try to, heal the heart and the soul. And she's laying there, and all of a sudden she looked up to me, and obviously on the news they were talking about Hunter Biden. She looked at me and she goes, where's Hunter? And I'm like, girl, you have no idea, little miss. Where is Hunter? And I thought, and then I sat there in my comfy chair with my 4-year-old on my lap in a low lit room and a blanket on my lap next to the fire, and like a stuffed ghost sitting on my mantle and a sign that says boo. And I'm just sitting there by myself and I'm thinking, I wonder where he is right now. I wonder what he's doing. If you've seen some of the text messages that have been exchanged between Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, There is tragedy in those text messages. Hunter Biden is telling Joe, I'm going to be the reason you can't run. I'm going to be the one who brings it all down. He's talking about his life as a screw up. It's very sad. He talks about being the addict's son and just how much of a failure Hunter seems to be. He's in rehab, I think, when he was sending these text messages. And Joe is being a loving father. That's why I think that that's the way the story is going to go on Thursday. They are going to go all in on Hunter's addiction, and they are going to try to relate to people who know somebody who has addiction. I don't know that that's necessarily a bad play, but it would be a completely misaligned purpose and goal and attack from the Trump administration to see this story as it relates to Hunter Biden. The story is about Joe. And Hunter Biden was a means to an end for Joe. And Hunter Biden's addiction is sad and tragic. But if Joe Biden used Hunter to profit through backdoor channels from China and Russia and Ukraine and Kazakhstan, that cannot go unpunished. And we're not going to, as a country, spare Hunter Biden his sins and allow Joe Biden off the hook to become the president of the United States if, in fact, these things are true. So let's find out if they're true. And if they're not true, get to the bottom of that as well. You can't just say, la, 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 not true, Russian disinformation, and have, I don't think the majority of Americans go, well, they said it wasn't real, so it's not real. Sure as heck wouldn't work that way for Donald Trump, would it? Of course it wouldn't. When we're watching this story unfold, it is as important to watch how the media reacts to it as it is to see how the Biden campaign reacts to it. Donald Trump to Savannah Guthrie, which, by the way, is she like Chris Wallace was like, he was in my bathroom in the morning when I got up to pee. Hi, I'm Chris Wallace, and I'm here to tell you why Trump sucks. Why are you here? Go away. I'm not here to find out what it is that you need to say about anything. Chris Wallace was everywhere. Is Savannah Guthrie like out and about and speaking about her experience of interviewing?
Not that I know of.
I haven't seen her much.
Debating the president of the United States. Donald Trump in that town hall got asked once again to disavow white supremacy, and then he was asked to disavow QAnon. And Joe Biden hasn't been asked about Hunter Biden yet. Donald Trump says he doesn't even know what QAnon is, and I would suspect that he knows the existence of them, but has been purposely instructed to not. It's called plausible deniability. Purposely instructed to not dive into that and not go down that road. And the less you know, the easier this is going to be for you to just punt every single time. Take the pitch, move on. Don't get yourself into the conversation about something that you have nothing to do with. Just stay far, far away from it, which is probably, the more he gets told that, the more he probably wants to look into it like a child. You got President Trump having to disavow QAnon, which is something that the majority of Americans have no idea what it is. And Hunter Biden's emails and this scandal, not even a topic of conversation with George Stephanopoulos. And when you look into the backgrounds of these people, like I said this earlier this week, I'll say it again. Red Mask Lady was nodding in affirmation to things that the president said, and people wanted to know who she was and where she lived. How did she get into that NBC audience? The accusation that everybody there was supposed to be an undecided voter, A, no, that's not accurately true. B, she didn't ask a single question. She just sat there and she nodded because she agreed with the president. Is it now a crime to agree with the president? Because maybe it is on NBC. All she did was sit there and nod in affirmation with the president and give a thumbs up every once in a while. And she was, exhibit A of what's wrong with America and why NBC was so biased and slanted in the president's favor that night. It's so ridiculous. Meanwhile, every single person who has interviewed Joe Biden in one of these nighttime spectaculars or a debate moderator or the vice presidential debate moderator, they all have drastic Democrat ties and nobody bats an eye. It's really shockingly predictable, isn't it? Quick break. We're going to try to connect with Jack Posobiec right here on the break. If we don't get him now, we will get him maybe at 2:25 as well. Stick around. More Annie Frey Show coming your way in just a minute.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Guess it doesn't matter. Guess it doesn't matter anymore.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get in your comfort zone with 0% financing for 72 months and Carrier Cool Cash rebates on qualifying equipment when you purchase and install a new HVAC system. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Hey there, it's Billy with Inside Out Tax. I used to work for the IRS and I help people every day get to the bottom of their tax problems. What most folks don't know is the IRS can show up at your door. These are field collection employees called revenue officers. If you've recently been visited by someone at the IRS, then give me a call to set up a free 30-minute consultation at 636-495-5700 or reach out to us through our website at insideouttax.com.
Stewart's American Mortgage, home of the bagel loan. Oh, don't miss out on these super low rates. And also, let me add this, the quick turnaround time you're going to get when you work with Stewie. Getting that refi in and getting it turned around and done, you're going to get fast service. You're going to get the lowest rates available. He has access to the low rates that everybody else has, but he has something more. He has the bagel loan. He has the opportunity to do your refinance without charging you all of those lender fees that everybody else is going to charge you for. They have to. That's the way their business is set up. Stewie has specifically created Stewart's American Mortgage in a way that makes it so that you don't have to pay those fees. They're also not tucked away where you don't see them. They also are not hidden so that you don't realize you're paying them. They aren't there. They don't exist. I did a refinance with him a year ago, and I'm grateful for it each and every month. And I want you to check it out as well. See how he can help you. There's nothing to lose and so much to gain. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Call him or text him and mention the Annie Frey Show when you do. NMLS number 226715.
The economy was booming. Business was thriving. But then the greatest health and economic crisis of our generation shook our country. Entrepreneurs asked, how will my business and employees survive? Insperity was built for times like this. Driven by our mission to help businesses succeed so communities prosper, we were there to help them navigate their way and ultimately rise above. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
If you are looking for a home warranty, please check out my friends at Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. You know, that maintenance part of their title is extremely important. Most home warranty companies out there want to deny your claim due to lack of maintenance. They claim you haven't been taking care of your equipment over time, so they don't have to help you out. Well, at Upkeep, they completely eliminate that worry by sending their own technicians out to your home 4 times a year to do the general maintenance for you. And if you ever need service done, they will either repair or replace your equipment, and that work is also being done by an Upkeep employee. It's not a third-party contractor trying to upsell you. Their plans are extremely affordable. You can even divide your payments up over the 12 months of the year. And when you use code DGS, you get $100 off your service. To check out all of their different home warranty plans, go to their website, upkeepstl.com. That's upkeepstl.com.
So excited to welcome the newest partnership here on the Annie Frey Show. That's Foley Dental Group. They're located in Maryville, Illinois, which is crazy easy to get to from Illinois, but specifically if you are heading over from the other side of the river off of 270 and 55, each one simple access to Foley Dental. And I am a patient of Foley Dental. Let me tell you why I like them, because going to the dentist is not something that a lot of people get excited about. But Foley Dental is a family dentist office. Everybody in my family goes to Foley Dental, and I would encourage you to take everybody in your family to Foley Dental as well. But they just make the experience one that makes you kind of excited when you get to go back. There's Netflix in every chair. And I'll tell you what, there's nothing like sitting in a dental chair. And I'm not somebody who watched The Office. Katie, you'll love this. I don't watch The Office, but when I go to Foley Dental, I do. And I'm laughing at all the jokes while I've got my mouth full of dental equipment and I'm like spitting all over the place and it's gross and disgusting. But that show, The Office, it's not that bad. that's taking my mind off of the whole process of getting fillings, which I have done there. I have a sensitive tooth. I'm high maintenance. I know that's shocking to a lot of people when it comes to my mouth, but Foley Dental has made me comfortable. They have lots of ways to implement comfort for you and your family. And, for me, it's the place I take my kids, and I know that it can span generations. So if you are looking for a dentist in your area, brand new to the show, please consider giving Foley Dental your business, because they are partnering with us, and that's a great way to sponsor the show as well. 618-288-9670. That's 618-288-9670. Mention the Annie Frey Show when you call to make sure they know you heard about him here. You can find him online at FoleyDentalGroup.com.
The Dave Glover Show.
Honestly, I can't remember the last time on anyone but Fox I heard them say something actually positive. I can't. It doesn't happen.
Weekdays at 3 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Cupid, draw back your bow and let your arrow go straight to my lover's heart. For me, Cupid.
Problem with playing Sam Cooke on the show is that I never actually want to. How am I supposed to don't turn down. How am I supposed to interrupt this just beautiful crooning?
So soothing.
With my ragey banter.
Hunter Biden!
Should I play Chelsea Clinton? That'd be a nice buffer. No?
Yeah, you should just hiss like a vampire for the whole time.
Did you guys see Kirstie Alley on Hannity last night?
Yes.
No, I didn't see it.
Yes, I did.
She's suited for sitcoms, that's for sure. She was kind of like, I enjoyed it. I was glad she was there, but she kind of was a little bit like, I don't know. You get used to seeing these pundits who know to be real snappy, and straight to the point. And she was just like, I just like Trump, and I think other people are a-holes.
She was very casual about the whole thing.
She's kind of smiling and like, I don't know. I don't want to say I don't think she looked uncomfortable. It was almost as if she looked too comfortable.
Yeah. And like it was kind of refreshing too, because you could tell that she didn't have all of her talking points planned out before the interview. She just kind of went into it and was like, well, I'm just going to go with the flow, and I'm going to try to answer the questions as best as I possibly can.
Chris Fine is suggesting she was medium drunk. I don't think we know that.
I don't think so.
First thing she says when she came on here is she's like, the insults are all so predictable. I'm fat, I like Trump, and I'm a Scientologist. And I was like, wow, that is a lot right out of the gate.
Here we go. Woo! Batter up.
Is she a Scientologist?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. She's been on the cover of many grocery store magazines for most of my early adulthood.
It's probably because she had a cocaine habit, and she was on like one of the most successful sitcoms in American history. I mean, she's talked a lot about her drug habits. I don't know that she was doing cocaine when she was on Cheers, or if that's, I know she's talked about having the addiction problem before she was on Cheers. It's killing me to see how many people are like, I guess this is why I preferred Diane. And I'm like, do you think it hurts her feelings? Like, do you think she's like, it's 2020 and that show has been off the air for what, almost 30 years now or something? And she's like, but they like Diane instead of me. Gosh, I just, man, people just getting out some negative energy these days on Twitter. It's gonna get worse after the election, right? Or no? Are people going to get off of the? Speaking of this Tubin story, we could.
You want to talk about Tubin? Let's talk about Tubin.
Oh gosh! What a weird
the
story.
plethora of mistakes that this individual made have happened in great capacity before anybody found out what he was doing.
How stupid can one be living in 2020?
If there was a Fox News contributor who did that, if it was somebody who was a prominent conservative, it would be the lead story, and it would be some sort of Me Too thing. And CNN's like, oh, he's taking time off for a personal matter.
Ugh.
Well, it's pretty personal, but it's less personal now than it was a few days ago. That's what I have to say about that.
I will
Trying
say,
to defend that guy
Mhm.
is one of the dumbest things when you see people on Twitter say, well, you know, this
I
is
haven't
something
seen
that
I haven't seen anybody defend him. It's just that they're like, well, he's going to handle that. It's the difference between actively defending somebody, which it's indefensible, and just not holding their feet to the fire the way they would obviously do to other people.
I think there was a hashtag trending yesterday and today, and it was hashtag MeToobin. And
it's a good one.
Yeah. And it was nothing but
Thank you, Internet.
bad things to say. Because you've got to be the stupidest person in the world, right? To do what he did on Zoom. Dumb.
yeah, I'm not sure you could do something worse. I can't think of a worse practical jokey type thing to happen to a person.
Practical joke. It's not a practical joke.
No, but I'm trying to think of like, I mean, I didn't want to
It was
compare it to murder or something.
Neither
but like,
practical
you know,
nor a joke.
no.
They're like, oh, I thought the cameras were off.
Oh gosh, come on.
Let's just sit down and discuss this and talk about timing and appropriateness while you're at work, even if you're not at work.
And
Yeah,
we
what
are
is that conversation
months
with HR
and
look like?
months into a pandemic, months and months into people having to use Zoom as their primary way to connect with people at work, for meetings, for conference calls, for streaming. We are doing this constantly every single day. For you not to be aware is the poorest excuse. Stupidest thing. Mad. I'm mad.
I see. You know why I'm mad? I'm mad because I have to talk about it. I guess I don't.
Yeah.
But Lord knows that if it were, it's not a fair, equitable world that we live in here. Oh, it just makes me crazy. Here's a story: John Kasich among GOP candidates being vetted by Joe Biden for potential candidate or cabinet positions.
Big surprise.
Pretty sure that's why he's so supportive of Joe Biden.
Yes.
What you're going to do is you're going to speak at the DNC. And once you speak at the DNC, then we will consider you for position A, B, and C. And we will publicize that we are considering you for said positions so that you can have that press. Because what else is this dude doing?
I legit voted for him in the primary. I did that.
Do you get the same sense about Tulsi Gabbard, though, that she's also doing the opposite on our side?
No, Tulsi
she's-
Gabbard has always stood by what she believes. Her thoughts and opinions have never wavered. The Democrat Party was unwilling to listen to her points of view, and she is still very liberal and progressive. She is not conservative. Like thinking that the enemy of my enemy is my friend might be something that works on a case-by-case basis, but she is not somebody who I would be supporting. I would support her to primary Mazie Hirono and that nut job so
Sure.
that we could have a Tulsi Gabbard in the Senate. That might actually possibly happen. I don't know how popular Mazie is in Hawaii, but
Just the fact that she was willing to sit down with somebody like Dave Rubin. I mean, there are very few liberals who would do that, which I compliment her for doing that, but I didn't know if maybe she was trying to play an angle.
well, where else would she go?
Yeah, right. I mean, that's what's so strange about her. Some of the positions she's taking on. What was she on there talking about? It was censorship.
Google with Google.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that liberals won't listen to her at all. Which I
Liberals
guess
won't listen to her at all because she stood. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard single-handedly took Kamala Harris out of the primary. Kamala Harris had to drop out of the primary before the Iowa caucus because Tulsi Gabbard sliced and diced her and called her on her crap. It's just a matter of being honest. But her policies, Tulsi's policies, are still drastically left-leaning policies. I mean, she's not going on Rubin's show because she agrees with him. It's because the Republicans, conservative commentators, are people who are more what I would say the libertarian lean in the conservative Republican Party is stronger than it has ever actually been before. It's amazing when you consider how closed off and closed-minded this Democrat Party is. You do not get to sidestep what they tell you you're going to believe, and they will correct you when you're wrong. And if you're Tulsi Gabbard, you're somebody who's come out and said consistently, yeah, you're not going to tell me how this is going to go. You're not going to change my direction on this. And I'm not going to, salute and say, step 2, just so that I can do what you tell me that I need to do for the party, when I think what you're doing is not the best for the party or for the country. It's just a matter of her policy still being drastically to the left. Chris on Facebook says Fox News should hire Tulsi. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
She'd be a good contributor, but I mean, I still think that her aspirations for work, being in office are probably still pretty strong. And I still think she would have a chance at being able to do something. I mean, she's still in the House of Representatives, and she's voted outside of the Democrats. She's chosen to not vote on certain tough votes. She's consistently done her own thing. And that is a cardinal sin to these folks. We're going to have Jim Carafano on here in a few minutes, about 15 minutes from now. And I'm looking forward to asking him. I'm going to ask him to grade President Trump's job from a foreign policy standpoint, because that the debate commission has, normally this third debate is the foreign policy debate. Normally when you engage in this final debate, the last say is the president and the challenger's opportunity to talk about foreign policy, because it's a very important thing. It's, in my mind, probably the most important thing that our president has to do, is be our commander in chief and protect the people, the men and the women who serve, and to use them in a way that honors the safety, the sovereignty, and the protection of our country. But we're not doing foreign policy this time, because the debate commission has said, no, we're going to talk about race relations in this country and climate change and COVID. And these are all things that have been discussed already. These have all already been topics at debates. And for whatever reason, they're going to be topics again. I suspect that maybe President Trump has had an enormous amount of success in foreign policy, and that maybe making this foreign policy centered would be too much of a leg up for Donald Trump. Maybe, I don't know. Jim Carafano does policy, not politics, as he is apt to remind us. So I'm going to ask him, how has this administration comparatively done in regards to foreign policy? How has America thrived or been held back in this administration? And what kind of challenges do we face moving forward with this stark contrast between these two candidates? And then we'll be able to deduce ourselves. Maybe foreign policy would be too strong of a suit for Donald Trump. And because of that, we had to talk again about race relations. I wonder if the president will finally denounce white supremacy this Thursday. It's good that we're finally going to have the opportunity to ask him. Oh, and I wonder if Joe Biden will denounce "you ain't black." Maybe someone should ask him that. We'll be back in a minute.
Draw back your bow.
How do you know when someone is in the extreme? Would you know? For State Senator Jill Shoup, it's easy to tell. Maybe it's because she voted against a constitutional amendment making it easier to prosecute child sex offenders. Prosecutors argued it would be a powerful tool to go after sexual predators who target innocent children. And voters passed it overwhelmingly, with more than 70% of the vote. But Jill Shoup voted no. And when she had the chance, Shoup voted against bipartisan legislation requiring the state to report illegal immigrant sex offenders to federal authorities. Each time she voted no, who was Jill Shoup protecting? Maybe it's hard to tell if someone is in the extreme, but when it comes to Jill Shoup, it's pretty easy. You just look at her record. NRCC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.nrcc.org.
At Spire, we know the value that natural gas brings to the communities we serve. From a hot shower after a long day to the warmth and comfort of a cozy home. And we know that in any year, some of us struggle to make ends meet. But this year isn't just any year. If you're struggling to pay your natural gas bill, we're here to help. Our dedicated team of community support specialists is ready to help identify the assistance program that's right for you. To learn more, call us or visit us online at spireenergy.com/assistance.
Has this ever happened to you? My friend was telling me about his new pair of headphones, so I looked them up online. Now everywhere I go is a creepy ad for those headphones I looked at one time. I hate that feeling like I'm being watched. I got DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. With one download, you can search and browse privately, avoiding trackers all for free. It's that simple. Take back your privacy online with DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
So when I do my lives for Brooklinen, I typically take what I would call a shotgun approach, which is especially good for Brooklinen because it's a shotgun kind of business. They are known for their bedding, the biggest online bedding company in the world, but they also do loungewear and activewear and totes and artwork and sleep masks and pretty much anything that you can think of for you, your body, or inside your home. Let me feature, though, towels. Towels was, I believe, the second thing they did after bedding. And you may say towels and go like towels, couldn't care less. But you really think about it. We're all pretty choosy and persnickety about our towels. And if you go stay at a hotel or you go stay at someone else's house or a cabin or a rental or something, and you're like, oh my God, these towels are amazing, or these towels suck, I might as well just use Scott towels. So the towels that we have are big and thirsty and soft and wonderful, and you're going to become addicted to them. Get 10% off your towels and anything else when you make your first order, plus free shipping when you use my last name, Glover, at Brook.
KFTK FM Florissant, K254CR St. Louis, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk, a radio.com station.
They're keeping hope alive. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. At this hour, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and the Treasury Chief, Steve Mnuchin, are scheduled to talk again, trying to narrow the differences over coronavirus relief. President Trump says he'd be willing to spend more than what Democrats want. And Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell now says if a deal is reached, he'd be willing to give it a vote. But White House Economic Advisor Larry Kudlow says it's not just about the bottom line.
He's not going to sign on to some ideological political package that has nothing to do with COVID or the economy, which is still a problem in the Democratic offering. So we shall see.
The president also says he doesn't think Pelosi really wants a deal before Election Day. And for now, Senate Republicans are focusing on smaller, targeted proposals that Democrats have rejected before. The final face-off between President Trump and Joe Biden later this week will include a mute button, but only at certain times.
The way that it's going to work on Thursday night will be the only microphone that's going to be turned on is the candidate whose turn it is to talk at the top of each segment for 2 minutes. After Trump and Biden make their opening remarks, both mics will go back on for the remaining 9 minutes, all controlled by someone backstage with the Commission on Presidential Debates.
Fox's Peter Ducey in Wilmington, where the Democratic nominee is focusing on debate prep while the president continues to hold daily rallies heading later today to Pennsylvania. British rocker Spencer Davis has died. His Spencer Davis group, which included a teenage Steve Winwood, had that and a string of other hits in the 60s, part of the so-called beat movement inspired by American rhythm and blues. Spencer Davis was 81. He'd been hospitalized for treatment of pneumonia. America is listening to Fox News.
What do you get when you talk to a Dell Technologies advisor? You get someone who understands there's an art to listening, who's able to hear more than what's being said, and can provide tailored small business solutions that make you feel truly heard.
I understand. Let's get started.
For advice on everything from laptops to the cloud and solutions powered by Intel vPro platform, call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL.
Walgreens has always been there to help make your healthcare easier. From making sure you have the prescriptions you need to answering any questions you have about them. Now, the question is whether you have the right Medicare plan. And we're here to help make that easier too. Walgreens can save you money and peace of mind with copays as low as $0. Visit walgreens.com/Medicare today to see how. Walgreens. We make Medicare easy. $0 copay on Tier 1 generic drugs when enrolled in a plan with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy.
Air Comfort Service heating and cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Clouds and a little bit of sunshine as we go through our Tuesday afternoon. And because of the thick overcast at times, there'll be a couple of showers here and there, but I think rainfall is somewhat limited. 65 for the high today. It stays a little bit on the cool side, though not as chilly as yesterday. Tonight, clouds, a much better chance of showers and even a couple of thunderstorms. 52 for the high. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's open enrollment season, and MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that saves most families about $500 a month. Google MediShare and see if it's a right fit for you. And check out the podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's digital editor, Megan Crane.
Find your perfect Mazda with significant savings from all 3 Bomarito Mazda locations. Plus, every new Mazda has the Bomarito nationwide warranty. 10 years, 200,000 miles. Right now, lease a 2020 Mazda CX-5 with 0 down for $299 per month, or a 2020 Mazda CX-30 with 0 down for $259 per month. That's at all 3 Bomarito Mazda locations.
Looking to build a home in the Metro East? Will look no further than C.A. Jones. These guys are so good at what they do. I love walking through C.A. Jones homes. I've been in 3 different ones across the area. I've been in one in Shiloh, one in Waterloo, and one in Glen Carbon. And they are beautiful, stunning homes. You can see some of them online at cajonesinc.com. They have examples up there. They have actual houses that you can take tours through up there. And if you can call them or text them if you want to take a tour through one of them, they'll set you up. You can even do it through a video call tour if you are trying to stay at home and trying to keep to yourself these days. 618-777-6080. That's 618-777-6080. C.A. Jones, they are so kind and good at what they do. They've created an easy buy program for you. With the Easy Buy program, there's no 20% down, no interest payments while your home is being built, or any of those extra headaches that come with your traditional construction loan. If you're looking to build a house in the Metro East, go with the very best. You can see everything you need to know online at cajonesinc.com.
If you've listened to 97.1 FM Talk, you have heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple on the station as the financial expert for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend on 97.1 FM Talk, and in case you miss any of those shows, on his podcast on radio.com. That's radio.com, and search Safe Money 97.1. So call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Our Congressman Blaine Luetkemeyer still believes in our America, not a radical shift to failed socialism. Blaine knows the path to a faster economic recovery and higher wages is what worked for our families before the shutdowns.
Less regulations, lower taxes, and you saw the economy rebound at historic pace. We wound up with 1.2 million more jobs than we had people to fill them.
And Blaine Luetkemeyer knows the real China.
They've proven that they can't be trusted on trade. Militarily, I really don't think that we need to trust them on anything anymore.
And Blaine wants to bring those China supply lines back home to create high-paying jobs here.
There's an opportunity there for a lot of the small businesses in my district to take on additional manufacturing loads. There's an opportunity to bring back more jobs.
And Blaine Luetkemeyer stands with us on our side for law and order, for good-paying jobs, and for America's future.
I'm Blaine Luetkemeyer, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Blaine for Congress.
You can listen to 97.1 on radio.com through your smart speaker. It's information with perspective. Just ask it to play 97.1 FM Talk. Powered by Dell Technologies. Call 877-ASK-DELL. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for choosing to spend a little bit of your Tuesday afternoon with us. We are grateful for it. Each Tuesday, we speak with Jim Carafano, and this is no different. Jim Carafano joins us now with the Heritage Foundation, a foreign policy expert, a national security expert, and you're probably expert. What else are you an expert at, Jim? Anything else that we should know about that we can include into our interview?
I can eat sushi like nobody's business.
A sushi expert. Fantastic. I don't know anything about sushi. I've never had sushi. Am I missing out?
Really?
Really?
Huh.
I don't eat
Yoga.
seafood.
It's true.
Yeah.
I'm
maybe
a
someday.
certified yoga instructor,
Really? I didn't see that coming.
or actually an uncertified yoga instructor, but yeah.
Love that. One of the third debate each time we have these presidential debates, the third debate is supposed to be dedicated to foreign policy. It seems as though that's not going to be the case this time. So I don't know if the president is going to take the time on Thursday to make his case as our leader from a foreign policy standpoint. But I thought I'd give you the opportunity to grade this administration so far, comparatively speaking, to what he inherited and what he's accomplished in his 3.5+ years so far. This administration, have they bettered our position on the global stage?
Well, sure, I can do that. I mean, because it's not a political comment. I'm not a partisan guy, and I don't do politics. I do foreign policy, so I can objectively say, are we better off than we are 4 years ago? Yeah. Look at it from the perspective of allies. And he's often accused of America alone, isolationist, not working with allies. But the reality is in the Asia Pacific, all the key alliances, the key democracies, Japan, Australia, Japan stronger. In the Middle East, he's transformed the Middle East. We have this growing integration of the normalization of countries with Israel. That's going to be a collective security partnership for the United States. He's got better relations in Latin America than the last president. All the key allies, Brazil, Central America, Mexico, better. He does more in Africa than the last president did. Even in Western Europe, which is where you often hear this complaint, if you look around, better relations with the Nordic countries, better with the Baltic countries, better with the Central Europeans, Southern Europeans. Even the countries that they complain, like Germany and France, a lot of their issues have nothing to do with Trump. They've got problems of their own. So from an alliance perspective, better. Russia has been checkmated. Iran is the worst shape it's ever been. The North Koreans have been quiet for years. The Chinese are being challenged in a way that they've never been before. Global terrorism has been greatly reduced. Of course, our military is in much better shape than it was 4 years ago. So from a plain objective standpoint, it's really difficult to argue that foreign policy and defense policy hasn't been much more effective than it was 4 years ago. I just don't think that's up for discussion.
We're speaking with Jim Carafano with the Heritage Foundation. What challenges lie ahead in the next, I guess we speak in increments of 4 years here, but regardless of who wins in November, we're so wrapped up as Americans in the delicious salaciousness of the stories that rise to the top are very rarely the most important stories that need to be discussed. What lies ahead on the foreign policy stage for whomever is going to take that role after November 3rd?
Well, that's a great question. So it was often called the era of great power competition. So on North Korea, China, Russia, they're not going anywhere. And unless we continue to deal with them effectively, they'll just go back to the bad things they were doing before. If you don't continue to hound the terrorists like Obama did when he stopped in the Middle East, then they'll come back again. So, I mean, these are things that you simply have to keep doing. We aren't done rebuilding our military, so you have to continue to do it. This competition with China, it's a global competition, and we can't turn our back on that. So I think what we need is 4 more years of what we had the last 4 years.
Jim, where is China right now? I mean, we know that they project confidence all the time about everything.
Right.
But where are they economically? Are they kind of on their heels and kind of waiting to see who's the next president?
Kind of stunned like everybody else. And of course, the thing they're dealing with now that they never had to before is there is a lot of friction and a lot of blowback around the world about Chinese aggression. And so they're struggling how to do that. And they don't know really what to expect from a second Trump term or from a new Biden president. But having said that, they have a lot of resources and capabilities. So I don't think anybody can confidently predict what they're going to do, and I don't think they can confidently predict what we're going to do. But the bottom line is now is exactly the wrong time to back off from dealing with China. And I just think we just have to keep doing what we're doing. A lot of people say, well, we need to focus on climate change. Well, you know what? Climate change is not going to take care of any of those issues. And when you're focusing on climate change, China and Russia and Iran are going to just eat your lunch.
Jim Carafano joining us right now. That's on the global stage. We've discussed that a little bit here. But on a national stage, locally, we have some things that are threatening the security, the comfort of American citizens. We've seen unrest in our streets for the better part of this year. And I know a lot of people are concerned about, regardless of which way this election goes, the potential that will increase after the election. Have we gotten our hands around this issue of the unrest that exists in our streets, the difference between people who are trying to give a voice to an issue that they feel is underserved versus the people who are just out, the violence, the destruction, that are just out there to destroy?
Well, so what we've seen is, yes, we've dealt with it in every place except the places where the politicians and the district attorneys don't want to deal with it, and they've normalized it and sustained it and enabled it. And that's in places like Portland and Seattle and Chicago. So we've shown that you can deal with this. The federal government can come in and help. You can do investigations to take down these organizations, and you can stop normalizing violence. So there's a formula for dealing with that, but you have to have the will to do that. Here's the problem, I think, is if the president wins, we'll proceed with this formula, and it'll make it harder for people to own the streets and make them mean, violent streets. I think we'll continue to whittle that away. On the other hand, if we go to a policy of permissiveness from the national level, that is just going to incentivize that violence to spread and get a heck of a lot worse.
I'm looking at your article on heritage.org, Jim Carafano, and a sentence jumps out at me. The violence that exploits these well-intentioned activities is part of an organized effort to implement a radical political agenda. The phrase organized effort there really jumps out at me. Can you explain who's organizing that?
Well, I mean, look, certainly the Black Lives Matter organization is a key part of this. If you look at the report that I cited in the article, which is actually done by an academic, very left-leaning group who's actually very pro-demonstrations, all hundreds of violent demonstrations are directly linked to the Black Lives Matter organization. And if you do the research on the leadership of this organization, their political agenda is actually quite radical, has nothing to do with Black lives or with racial equality, and is tied among other groups, radical Maoist communist groups that have links to communist China. This is indisputable. So, yeah, the people that are affiliated with the riots among the leadership in Antifa and BLM have a radical political agenda. That is indisputable. It's not even enough for question.
Jim, one last question before I let you go. I don't know if you're going to be comfortable commenting on this or not, because I haven't asked you ahead of time, which I should have. But you, as well as everybody else, has seen the Hunter Biden emails that have come out, and we've seen some corroboration with different. There's two storylines with the emails right now. Do you have concern about what the implication is, based on the information we know right now, about what Joe Biden's relationship with some of these countries might have been backdoor, or do you not have enough information to go on yet?
Well, look, here's what we can say. I don't think there's any evidence, any credible evidence. Documents themselves or the laptop are a product of disinformation. That's not saying that the Chinese.
Jim, you cut up right there, and I want to make sure that I get your full statement there.
What I say is I don't think we have any evidence that the documents or the laptop itself are the product of disinformation. Now, that's not saying the Russians or the Chinese might not try to exploit it, but there's no information that suggests that the documents aren't genuine. I don't know how useful they are in blackmail, because now they've been exposed. So there's nothing to threaten to expose. I would say what we've seen so far is politically damaging. But I'm not sure it presents a complete picture that you could say that this would become a national security concern, or it would say anything about a person's ability to govern or deal with these countries. I don't know. I don't think we can say that based on what we have publicly publicly seen so far. I think that's
Yeah.
a fair judgment.
Yeah, I think that there's room for more information to be released to provide fuller context, and we'll talk to you about that again if that indeed happens. Jim Carafano, it's always a pleasure to have you on here. We always appreciate your conversation.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
We'll talk to you again next week. Jim Carafano with the Heritage Foundation, the leading expert in national security and foreign policy. That's one of the questions that I don't know if he's gonna dive all into that, but don't you kind of want to know? Like,
yeah. Well, there's so much to this story that I feel like we need to take a step back and just hear it all again to get the full picture.
Hold on a second. Talk amongst yourself.
Okay.
That's you. You
Okay.
talk about polls.
So here's the latest.
Hold your kids and your favorite lunch.
Here's the latest in the poll world. The polls now are shifting. If you really want me to talk about this, the data that we're looking at is shifting because polls are usually the most important thing to talk about at this stage of the election. But we're starting to get early returns in more than ever. So I'm starting to dive into the early vote returns. We don't know exactly who they're voting for, but we know party affiliation in a lot of states. And I would love to share that with you soon, but I'm looking into it. Is that fair?
That's
perfect.
I was busy doing something. I have no
okay.
idea what you just said. I'm setting up a potential tease for you. Jack just got back to me.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting to see if he can come on with us when we come back. So stick around. Jack Posobiec maybe joining us when we come back. If not, immediately when we come back, we'll schedule him again for tomorrow. He has that Bevan Cooney treasure trove of emails. He has them in his possession. He has seen them. And I'm looking forward to him laying out for us what he knows. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that with Jack when we come back. Unless Jack's not there, then whatever Ryan just teased, we'll consider. We'll be back in a minute.
Hey guys, Glover here. If you are nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the DGS.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
This November 3rd, be sure to finish your ballot and vote for your judges. Missouri's judicial system gives voters the final say in retaining their judges. So know your judges before you vote. Visit yourmissouriJudges.org and learn about the nonpartisan judges up for retention this year. That's yourmissouriJudges.org. It's up to you to help make sure we have skilled, fair, and impartial judges. Know your judges and finish the ballot proudly. Visit yourmissouriJudges.org. Paid for by the Missouri Bar. Misha Epps, Executive Director.
2019 pricing. That means in just about everything you do, the price goes up a little bit the next year. Things cost more. This year, Darren at Rhino Shield is holding his prices to last year's levels because he knows people are dealing with different issues during this whole pandemic. If you were thinking about getting the outside of your house painted, don't. Get it Rhino Shield. Have a Rhino Shield put on the outside of it. This is this exterior ceramic coating. So don't wait. Get on the list now, right? Get it done while the getting is good, and you don't have to worry about the outside of your house or your business or your condo or your church. Go to 877-25rhino.com. Darren's got a lot of pictures, before and after pictures of the hundreds and hundreds of properties in the greater St. Louis area that he's gone out and put this outstanding product on. You'll be glad you did. And then you get a 25-year warranty. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25RHINO.com.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Okay, class, let's bump it up to 9.
Come on, Limu, keep pedaling. We got to build our endurance to let more people know that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Pick up the pace, bird legs.
Hey, don't talk to Limu like that.
I'm talking to you.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Get a customized quote at libertymutual.com.
There's an underdog story happening today in America. Small businesses are fighting to make a comeback, but in the moment they have the least, they're giving the most. They're rallying communities and neighborhoods, yet asking for little in return. Well, it's time we gave back. Small Unites is making it simple for everyone to take action and support the small businesses that unite us all. Find out how you can donate, shop, and share today at smallunites.org.
Let's be there for them.
The Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
Ideas matter.
Socialism versus capitalism. National debt.
Every issue is on the ballot. What's your decision? 97.1 FM Talk. Your home for Decision 2020.
Tierman explained to us that he was authorized access to the email address of Bevan Cooney, a former business associate of Hunter Biden and Devon Archer, who has since been incarcerated. Cooney says, according to Tierman, that he felt like he was the fall guy and wanted to come clean.
Bevan Cooney's emails, there's about 26,000 of them, so obviously it's taken some time for me to start to sift through them and understand what I'm looking at. That there was mentions of what Peter and I kind of refer to as the United Nations of global corruption, these 4 countries, China, Russia, Ukraine, and Kazakhstan. That's predominantly what these business emails have to do with, is these theaters of business.
It's pretty obvious that there is a lot of information surrounding the Hunter Biden emails that has yet to be fully revealed to the American people. And I got to say that this is more than ever a great time to be connected to some non-traditional news sources, specifically like OAN, which there are a lot of options out there and there are a lot of ways to get it. Check your Roku, check your Chromecast, whatever you've got, figure out a way to find out these alternative news sources, because the mainstream media is not talking about it. Well, they are on OAN, and we are right now with Jack Posobiec, who joins us. Jack, thank you so much for coming on with us and talking to us. You have access to something we'd all like to have access to, and that's these Bevan Cooney emails. And I told folks earlier, I'm going to ask you to not give us the 101 class level explanation of what's going on here. I want you to bring it down to the 100 level and tell us the players, who they are, why they are important to us, and ultimately what you found that is important out of these emails that you've gained access to.
Well, Annie, thank you so much for having me on again. I do have to apologize for not being able to come on earlier, as I actually had a sort of an unscheduled sit-down meeting with both Steve Bannon, and I also ran into Mayor Giuliani just across town here in D.C. So I have a good excuse, I guess.
That is always excusable as long as you come on our show immediately after.
And I came right back. And so we did tape an interview for One American News that will be dropping soon on that. But steering back to, so what people need to realize is that there are right now various sources of information that are coming out on Hunter Biden. And yes, they are all converging. But the laptop that you've all heard about and that's been bandied about back and forth in the press
That's only one of the sources, this hard drive from the laptop. The source that I've been able to get access to through independent journalist Matthew Cheerman, we're also working with Peter Schweitzer and his brilliant researcher, Seamus Bruner, is one of Hunter Biden's various associates in these different entities that he had set up. And this guy, I mean, shells upon shells of companies that they were putting together. They were building and dissolving LLCs and companies constantly to hide really what it was that they were up to. Because the minute you start digging into one, suddenly it dissolves and they have a new one that they've put together. This is not the type of thing that people do when they're conducting legitimate business. I think we could all say. So this guy, Bevan Cooney, he's behind bars right now in a federal facility due to a tribal bond scam that they were running, along with really Hunter was involved, Devin Archer was involved, some of the names you've heard. But this was later in the saga. This was something they got into that was much higher risk because after, of course, 2017, we know that Joe Biden is no longer in the White House. And so their access to that sort of level of political clout and influence goes away. And so they get involved in riskier and riskier ventures. One of those happened to be this scheme involving a South Dakota Native American tribe and dealing with tribal bonds. Went completely south, and this guy Bevan ends up in jail. So because he's behind bars and he's looking at Hunter, who's still out there gallivanting around, Devin Archer, who's still out there gallivanting around, he decided that he wanted to come clean, and he's provided his login information and his email address, even the two-factor authentication for his Gmail account to these guys. And so I flew out to Chicago this weekend, and you see the interview there on One America News. They showed me the login. We go right into Gmail, just the same way that anybody else who has one of those accounts would sign in. So the key to understanding about this tranche of the emails is that they're not on some laptop. They're on Google's servers right now. Yeah. So the authentication comes from the fact that they're still on Google's servers, right? Nobody's breaking into Google and, secretly uploading, implanting documents, right? That's not how that works. You're basically going to have to understand that because there's so many of these emails, and it is someone's personal email, we can't just release all 26,000 of them because, there's emails between him and his family, et cetera, personal emails that aren't really pertinent. But what is pertinent and that we're starting to now go through and sift through and build the narratives together is essentially a network of foreign corruption and money that is being moved between oligarchs from Russia, China, Ukraine, and Kazakhstan, that they're moving into deals in the United States, lining their own pockets, even when the U.S. Treasury Department, they have something called the OFAC list, that's essentially the sanctions list. Even when they kind of throw up some red flags, these guys are able to use what they call the Biden lift to be able to make those red flags go away.
The Biden lift. So, in that one, what is it? Good Morning America interview, Hunter Biden's asked, would you be able to do what you're doing here at Burisma, I suppose, without the last name Biden? He says, I wouldn't have probably been able to do most things in my life if it weren't because of my last name being Biden. Hunter Biden, the unsavory things that some of these photographs have revealed about his life, some of that is a tragedy to me to see. And peeking behind the curtain into someone's life like that is a sad state of affairs. But when it comes into American foreign policy, American relationships with other countries, and that last name Biden, the timing of it is very important, especially when the vice president's last name was also Biden, because, of course, Joe is Hunter's father. The big question that is needing to be answered right now in the context of October 20th, 2020, is where does Joe Biden come in? And have we pointed at any actual crimes yet that have been committed?
Well, so the big one that we've uncovered is essentially the money laundering that they were doing for this. And this is the first story that we've reported from it. The money laundering they were doing for a Russian oligarch to be able to get around this U.S. sanctions list. Remember, this is 2014 while this is going on. We actually track the emails back to the exact same time frame when the Crimea invasion is going on. The government of Ukraine has fallen apart. Russia and the separatists are now moving into Crimea to essentially create that annexation that we all know about today. All while this is going, there's a Russian oligarch who's contacting, of all people, Hunter Biden and his team, his gang, to be able to get their money out of Russia and into the United States in contravention of these U.S. sanctions. They know there's a sanction source involved. She's on a watch list, and we've got all the emails. We've released them now. And they essentially say, well, we can make this happen because she doesn't have any direct conviction, so we'll get her around this watch list. We'll make it go away. This is the type of collusion and influence that Donald Trump and his family have been accused of for half a decade at this point. None of that was ever found with the Trumps, yet when it goes to Joe Biden, you don't need a spaghetti string chart to explain all of it. It's direct. It's Joe to his son, and then his son and his friends out to all of these foreign interests.
So when this Russian oligarch is using Hunter Biden to, I guess, protect some money here in the United States, we've seen an email, and I don't know if I'm getting my wires crossed up, the one that talks about 10 for the big guy or whatever it was. We don't, I guess, factually know who the big guy is. I think we all have our assumptions as to who the big guy is. Where does Joe Biden come into this equation? What's the sequence of events that puts him in a position where he absolutely does know what's going on, and we have the receipts to prove it?
Right. So the sequence of events that you would need to see then would be a financial review of Hunter Biden, of these entities that I just told you that they were building and dissolving, and then essentially Joe Biden himself. And that's something that would need to be done by the FBI, by the SEC in some cases, for some of them, Security Exchange Commission. And we're also being told that the Department of Homeland Security may be interested in some of the stuff that was on the laptop side, I should say. And the reason for that is we simply don't have the access based on these emails to direct bank information, financial information. And if these guys were to attempt to go into those as journalists, not with federal subpoena, would be committing a felony essentially by doing this. So that's where you need law enforcement to be able to go and take that step further to really understand what exactly was going on. And remember, that's what Senator Johnson, and the Senate Homeland Security Committee did in their investigation back in September when they originally found the information about the Moscow mayor's wife. That's who we're talking about, this Russian oligarch. She's the Moscow mayor's wife, former mayor. And that $3.5 million in wire transfers, that was reported in Treasury documents having been essentially what are flagged as suspicious payments, so suspicious foreign payments from the SWIFT system. That coming over was something that was reported by U.S. officials. Now, they have the access to be able to do all of that. They can look into the financial networks of money moving around, going across countries, that we as independent journalists don't have the access to. So the real question then becomes, kind of the bottom line is, what was the FBI doing with that laptop for a year?
Right. Yeah. The web that is being woven here by who knew what and when and why people chose to act or not to act is all very concerning. Now, you said you met earlier today with Rudy Giuliani and Steve Bannon, and you've indicated that this is going to get worse. Certainly that there's information that is potentially going to cause bigger problems that are going to come out of this. What can you tell us about what you met with Rudy and Steve, and what OAN will be covering in that interview that will be released soon?
Right. So the big new takeaway on this twofold is, number one is I asked them, I said, what is the impact of this has this had an impact on the race, or is it just kind of being brushed aside? And they said, look at how the Biden campaign has reacted to this. They refused to answer any questions. They refused to shoot any of it down or deny any of it. And they've essentially taken their candidate with 14 days left, 14 days to the election, and they've basically said that their candidate will be hiding. They've put him in hiding all the way up until, I guess, the next debate, which will be Thursday. This is not something that normally happens during campaigns. Usually, certainly when Barack Obama was running, he was known for his massive rallies. Donald Trump's known for his massive rallies. Candidate hiding, certainly in the modern era, this is completely unprecedented. So Steve certainly believes that this is a direct result of what's come out on Hunter. We're also hearing indications that Biden's campaign is scrambling to try to find some kind of way to respond to all of this. But what they told me that they're working up on is that tomorrow morning, they are planning on releasing information that they claim involves non-financial crimes that they've uncovered from this laptop. And I tried to dig a little deeper on them to find out what that was. I mean, we certainly have heard a lot of rumors running all over the place. So I will say that from what I have heard, that some of the rumors may be really blowing things out of proportion. That being said, that doesn't make the activity that was uncovered legal, if that makes sense.
Sure. So we will be tuned in tomorrow to hear about that. And I want to encourage people to find OAN on your devices. I know, Jack, you've just tweeted out a stream that people can access to watch OAN. You guys are doing great work. The president certainly is a fan of your work. He seems to give you guys props anytime. And we love getting your insight here. Your conversations with the people in high places are valuable to our audience, and we're always grateful to have you on, Jack. Thank you so much for coming on with us today.
I always appreciate it. You guys are great. Always so fun doing the show.
Yep, we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you so much. Jack Posobiec, a host with One American News, on with us there, talking about the possibility of non-financial crimes being released tomorrow. In Jack's conversation earlier today, I guess they did an interview with Rudy Giuliani and Steve Bannon, and they're going to release that in the morning from what he is reporting there. Pretty interesting stuff. I think we could all probably guess what we think it might be. I'm going to wait and see what they say it is. And we'll see. Again, I want to know ultimately, of course, if there's illegality here, we need to expose it. But the big question is, does this come back to Joe Biden? Did Joe Biden know that this was going on? Has Joe Biden lied about what he knew, what he was involved in, what he knew his son was doing? Obviously carrying the name Biden around when the vice president is in office. These are all questions any standard issue reporter should be willing to ask, right? Well, I guess Joe Biden would have to be out in public in order to get those questions asked to him. It's one of the reasons I believe that he is, what would they say? Calling a lid. Oh, it's the worst phrase ever. I hate it.
Just call it a lid. No big deal.
It's making me nauseous.
Just a lid.
Yeah. All right. Katie had a brush with parenting last night. We're going to talk about that when we come back. And I think maybe it was the best birth control she could have probably ever experienced. Katie, are you ready to talk about this when we come back?
Yep, sure am.
Brace yourself. We'll be back in just a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for free HVAC estimates, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Everybody wants the economy to grow, right? But how do you feel about officials in effect giving your tax money to developers for their private projects? In the past 15 years, the city of St. Louis alone has diverted $709 million to developers in tax subsidies or abatements. That was money that would have gone to basic services like schools and public safety. Even worse, numerous studies around the country show these kinds of subsidies don't produce the promised jobs and growth. There's nothing wrong with developers wanting to build new shopping centers or company headquarters, but why should they get tax subsidies to do so? If it's a good business idea, great, but let them assume the risks as well as any possible rewards. It's time to reform economic development subsidies in Missouri. Check out our 2020 blueprint, Moving Missouri Forward at showmeinstitute.org. This Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
The Retirement Advisory Group, yes, you know Mr. Thomas Helbig, helping so many Annie Frey Show listeners get prepared for retirement. And I'm talking about you're late in the game. You've been working your tail off. You've been saving all of your hard-earned dollars, every one that you can stow away. But you want to make sure that it's going to be there to work for you when you decide it's time to quit working for a living. Did you know that if you're 59 and a half or older, you can now roll over your 401k tax-free to an IRA and protect your nest egg from the next market downturn? This is one of the things that Thomas Helbig can coach you on and move you in the direction of entering your retirement safely and with confidence. He'll also help you so that you can participate in the market gains, but not have to suffer those unexpected losses. For a free retirement review, you can call Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. You can visit him online at retirementkey.com as well and find out how he can get you comfortably and excitedly moving into your retirement. 314-993-9494, online at retirementkey.com.
Hi, it's Michael Mohan with Community Mortgage. With all the bad news out there, it's easy to miss the good news. Mortgage rates are at historic lows, making now a great time to buy or refinance a home. My customers are locking in the best rates in a generation. Now is the time to use the equity in your home to cash out for a remodel, pay off high-interest credit card debt, or rid yourself of the dreaded PMI. During these volatile times, you need an experienced local loan officer working for you. Call me, Michael Mohan, at 314-336-6050. I'm here in St. Louis, and when you call, you talk to me. Whether you are purchasing or refinancing, I want to help you save money on your home loan. Michael Mohan at Community Mortgage, 314-336-6050. Online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, NMLS 250-353-224-143.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at throttlenet.com. So it's crazy time at ThrottleNet. They are IT geniuses, but they are a little bit nutty. Right now, they will pay you $250 for a conversation about your IT support because they value your time during the crazy pandemic. They'll give you the first 30 days for free, no charge for all of their services. And then they'll pay you another $1,000 if you decide to leave in the first 30 days for your trouble. They don't anticipate that you're going to leave, but if you do, they'll shake your hand, they'll put you back where you were, and they'll write you a check for $1,000. It is completely no risk, and they reward you for your time and for your effort. They are the best IT shop in the city, named number 1 5 years straight. They are good guys. Like I said, they are geniuses at protecting you, but they can communicate. They don't stare at their shoes. They look in the eye and they tell you what you need to know. ThrottleNet.com/971.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
The chickens are finally coming home to roost.
This is the stuff that novels are made of, and yet Joe Biden claims he didn't know. Now, it's possible that he did know, but he forgot about it.
I would buy that argument, Randy, because he probably doesn't remember what he had for dinner last night.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Tony Colombo's in studio with us right now. Hi, Tony. How are you?
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Listen to what Katie says to me I should find the actual message that she sent me because I'm glad that you're in here so that we can call her out on the air in public.
Here we go.
All three of us ganging up on Katie together.
Yeah.
Katie, are you ready for this?
Yeah,
I'm ready. Let's see here.
Yeah, a little bullying. Get the blood flowing. Let's do this.
Nothing like bullying on a Tuesday.
Right.
Should I tell the story while you're trying to find it?
Here it is, 8:14 a.m. OMG, Marty was up. Marty is her dog. Marty was up all night with stomach issues, in all caps. How do people do this with kids? And I'm like, I don't know. We just complain a lot. And
same way you do with your dog. You just do it. You have no choice.
golly,
It's
just a lifetime of committing to the fact that you have no more choices left.
it just happens.
I woke up this morning and I was just in such a foul mood because there was just no sleep.
Kitty's starting to understand all of us a little bit more.
I
these
was
days.
so grumpy. And I the first thing that I thought of was like, God bless the parents out there and parents that have multiple children that had to do this many times. Yike, caramba.
What's the worst age, Tony? What's the, not the worst, but the toughest?
3.
You think 3, Ryan? What do you think? Ryan had twins,
at
but you
0.
Yeah.
When they're 0, they don't do anything though.
Yeah, I completely agree.
They
0
want.
is easy. I think that the age when they become mobile, like they could crawl and fall down the stairs, or maybe they start to walk a little bit, it's usually somewhere around like 8 months until I would say about 3 is when I think it gets easier, because then they can actually actively and purposely communicate to you and you can communicate back.
Yeah, but they get attitudes.
Yeah, I can handle attitude. I created it probably. But I mean, I feel like there's this time where they can kill themselves, but they can't tell you that they're about to do it. And that's frustrating.
It's weird how you guys are wrong, because the answer was actually twins at 0.
No experience there. Speaking of signs of the apocalypse, Tony, you ready for this?
Now, signs of the apocalypse on the Annie Frey Show.
I don't know how many people are watching on the cam right now, but here's one sign of the apocalypse. Whatever that thing is on my face.
Is that a zit?
Yeah. Look at that.
I'm gonna
That is a
vomit.
big one right there
Stop
on camera
it.
now too.
That is the grossest thing.
It's
the
the single most
What is
awful
that?
20
What is that?
20 seconds in radio history.
It's normal.
What am I, 12? What's going on here? Look at that thing.
Acne never stops.
Eating a lot of greasy
It's
food.
the size of an eyeball. Look at that thing.
Tony!
And there's more over here too.
I don't need to see your physical signs of the apocalypse. Move your zits
That
away
is-
from my face.
That is gross, man. It is.
It's fine.
What is happening?
I
No.
would never have noticed it until you thrust it into the camera. Why are our numbers going up?
And
You'd
then
think
look at
that they would go down.
Look at this over here. What are those guys doing?
Oh my gosh.
What are those two doing?
Tony!
Just coming to hang out with this guy.
Katie,
That's what they're
do
doing.
something.
And
Take
that's a
control of
wrap,
your show,
guys.
Katie.
These two
We're
here
calling a lid, guys.
are going to hang out with this guy.
No! Tony, my least favorite phrase in the history of mankind right now is calling a lid. How do you feel about that?
What is it?
That's
Calling
it.
a lid.
That's the tweet.
Shut up.
I don't know what it is. I don't know
Turn
what that
Ryan's
is.
microphone off.
You know what though? It's funny you say that because I'm starting with some terms here as well.
You haven't heard the phrase call a lid? That's
No.
what they say. Oh, Joe Biden's
man.
called a lid for this morning at 9 a.m.
What does that mean?
It's all the
Oh my
rage.
Gosh.
What's it mean?
It means he's
It
not
means-
coming out anymore.
Ryan, I
It's,
guess
it's political insider talk, and that's why I find it fascinating. Calling a lid means they're shutting him down for the day.
Oh, he's putting a lid on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, great. I'm glad we solved that.
I get it. I never heard it, but I get it.
Okay.
Here's a new term for you. You've probably heard of the term doom scrolling. You know what that is?
No.
No? Okay, doom scrolling, it's been around for a little while. It's when you kill time or even find joy by just endlessly scrolling through all the bad news on your phone. So
Okay.
you just you get you get on some rabbit hole of something you hate and then you just go down it and you doom scroll.
Yeah, I can maybe have done that.
Now there's also something called doom swiping,
Mm.
where you endlessly swipe through dating apps, not because you want to meet someone, but just to look at people.
Yeah.
Like just an escape.
Katie?
I call it a time suck. Like whenever my friends
It's called doom swiping.
talk about that, it's like a time
Get it
suck.
right, Katie.
That's what I say it is. So
Called doom swiping. It's on
I
here
have
somewhere.
never, I don't know that I've ever been on a dating app. Get it out of here, Tony.
I got
Speaking of social
concealer.
media, you've probably heard
My purse.
of the idea of a soft launch where a new restaurant quietly opens early to try things out, can full of customers, that whole thing. Well, now people are soft launching their relationships on Instagram.
How does that work?
Basically, instead of posting something on social media
Did you
announcing
say soft launching?
Soft launching. I said
I
you've
thought you
heard
said
you've
watching.
heard of soft launching like a
Like, is this a
restaurant,
Jeffrey
a
Toobin thing?
business.
Oh gosh.
You know, before your grand opening, you usually do a soft launch, right? You know, and in a business.
Man, dating is complicated these days.
Now they do soft launching of your relationship. So basically, instead of posting something on social media announcing you're in a new relationship, you post a photo that hints at it. Here's some examples. For the girls, she'll post a picture of him at a restaurant. His face will not be in it, and she will tag the restaurant, but not him.
Golly.
For the guys, it'll be a photo of himself, and he will tag the girl as the photographer.
You know, when we do
not
these
as his
stories,
girlfriend.
I kind of understand how maybe Joe Biden could win. Like, it starts to make sense to me just as a whole how Joe Biden could be absent from the campaign trail, but still maybe win.
So why are people doing this, you ask?
No.
It all comes down to the twisted modern rules of dating in the social media age. Person who was explaining this said, quote, "Our generation is a lot slower to define a relationship. So maybe you don't want to announce your involvement with someone before you make it boyfriend or girlfriend official. But you can't post a full body picture until you've got that title." I don't
Full
understand
body?
it. I don't understand a thing I just read. I
Me-
know all the
me-
words
I
I
don't
read.
either.
I don't understand the message. I don't understand what I said. I don't understand what it means. But it's dumb.
Adam just messaged the show and said, listening to your show, my twins are 2.5, others 7 months old. Thanks for the shout out. I get to listen when they all nap at the same time. Usually happens once a month.
Yeah.
Nice big shout out to Adam.
That's a good day. That's a good day. Singing is one of the ways to spread a ton of droplets, you know.
Yeah.
With the,
It's a terrible word. That's
So there's a
2020.
karaoke bar in Ontario that came up with a solution. They basically built a shower on their stage. So it's like a shower with clear doors instead of like the
Oh.
frosted doors.
Make you
And
sound
you go
better.
in there and you stand in the shower
You sound best in the show
on
anyway, right?
stage. And that's when you perform
That's when
your
you perform.
karaoke. Katie, would
Sing
you
your
sing
heart out.
Black Velvet in a shower?
What would
You
it
know
sound
it.
like if Katie were singing
On
Black
stage.
You
Velvet?
know it.
No, you don't. I don't want to.
What would it sound
No,
like?
no, you
You know,
don't want
okay,
to.
everybody wants you to
No,
sing.
you
Everybody
can't.
wants you to do
No,
it.
you can't.
You have to do it.
Black velvet in it.
Over
A
it.
new religion
I'm over
is
it.
gonna
Give 'em the
bring you
lyrics.
to your knees.
We're gonna get
I hate
copyrighted.
singing. I
This
don't wanna
sounds
do it.
so
I don't wanna
close
do
to
it.
the real
Guys, come on.
I don't want to
Come on, guys.
Everybody wants
Nobody
you. You have
wants to
such
hear-
a beautiful
nobody
voice,
wants to
Tony.
hear it. Nobody
It's
wants
it's so everybody loves when you sing.
Black
Everybody-
The pressure.
If you believe. Nobody likes it, guys. Come on. Nobody wants
You're the favorite. Everybody loves you. You're
Nobody
an
wants-
American
No,
Idol.
Nobody wants to hear it.
Everybody
Oh,
knows you went to Hollywood.
Time to go. It's hang up the phone. Come on. Get
Katie,
out.
when you have kids and they keep you up, I'm gonna kick you out.
That
of
wasn't
that
even
studio,
me
Tony.
singing. That was the zit on my head. It's got a mind of its own.
You just have to laugh. Thank you so much, Tony. We always appreciate you. The DGS is coming up next, so keep you laughing all the way home. Listen to the podcasts at radio.com. And be sure to subscribe to that Annie Fry YouTube channel because we're going to be live from my basement again on Thursday. Dave Glover Show coming up next.
So beat the drum with me. I'm not American.
Are you